All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing this evening? It's time for the first race this season of the brand new and improved Collegiate Sportscar Challenge, live from Imola this evening. My name is Nick Stockner. I'm going to be taking you along tonight on this 2-hour ride. Alongside me, I have my esteemed panel this evening. I've got Mr. Ricky Paz from East Carolina University and Mr. Ryan Whitlock from the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Gentlemen, what's on your mind?
This corner that I'm going through right now. I'm really excited for this race. As the series director, we've all put in a lot of work. You know, it's funny, we've got our commentary crew of series directors here. But I think it's going to be really fun. You know, this is a unique format to the CIL. This is the first ever team event in the CIL. It's our first ever really long race. So I'm just really excited to see how it goes, see how the league handles this different format.
I'll tell you what, gents, there's nothing like being a broadcaster while qualifying. It's an experience. But man, am I excited to be here tonight. We are witnessing history in the CIL. And as you said, Ryan, a panel full of CIL series directors. Couldn't get better than this on the inaugural CSC race.
Man, you guys are just a little bit too professional for me. I don't even know what to say. Let's get a little bit of chat interaction this evening for the people who are watching. You know, these GT3 cars, they're based on real-life counterparts, just heavily modified, of course. You know, they are race cars. If you could take any one of these race cars, turn it back into its street form, which one would you drive? I know we got some Ferraris, a lot of Corvettes out there, some Mustangs, a Porsche, maybe some BMWs as well. What kind of car would you drive? I, myself, gentlemen, I'm a sucker for that C8 Corvette. I don't think I would drive anything else, personally.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you, Nick. As I go through Piratella, trying to find every 10th I can, Corvette is my choice for the season. Funnily enough, I've actually crunched the numbers. We have every single brand within iRacing's GT3 category represented in tonight's race. I think every car is used at least once, and most cars are used at least twice. Our most popular cars are the Corvette Z06 GT3R. We've got a lot, actually, excuse me, Porsche 992 GT3R is the most popular car for this season, followed by the Corvette, followed by the Ferrari, but we've got a good mix of all the other brands too.
Nothing like driving this Corvette around this track, let me tell you. You hear the American muscle. It's beautiful.
Glad we could all be in agreement. I don't have the chat open, so I don't know what people are saying, but I'm sure they're putting in their opinions. Um, 30 individual cars tonight. Now, keep in mind, just because it is 30 cars here, ladies and gentlemen, that does not mean 30 drivers are competing. In fact, you definitely have some people in here who are, let's say, more or less, are dueling the race together. A common example, if we look down the list, the Tryon University esports team, currently in P30 on the qualifying board, they have multiple cars, multiple drivers, sorry. They are running in this field together. Now, what you may come to expect is what is the trade off between running a solo guy versus running a duo team? And our boy Ryan here is the one who was able to come up with the perfect solution to making a duo team and a solo team equal in the fact of a driver change. Ryan, can you explain that for us? He can't, so I can. Um, it takes about 30 some odd seconds in iRacing time for you to perform a driver change. It also takes about 30 some odd seconds, if you will, to load up an entire tank, a 75% tank of fuel. Now, most of these guys are going to be driving, you know, full stints, refueling the car after a full stint. So now, in this instance, it is equally fair to driver change while you're filling up your entire tank. And because of this, a duo team is not at a disadvantage compared to a single car team. And fellas, this will provide a little bit of a, if you will, a interesting dynamic, as some guys are going to be a little bit fresher than others.
Yeah, when we set the fuel tank sizes for this series, we intentionally made it 75% because that is the exact amount of refueling time that allows the driver swap to still happen. So I wanted to make sure two driver teams were not disadvantaged, but I also didn't want to give everybody 100% tanks because then that just makes it a simple one-stop, two-stint race. So we really made sure to set that fuel number to try to make our strategies a little more interesting tonight.
Of course, of course. So, qualifying is over. A 2 hour race is about to commence. No, you know, 2 hour races, in fact, by time allowance, would tie the CIL record. Now, the CIL Cup Series races, they time out at 2 hours, and believe me, we've hit the timer. But this time, this is at least by time the first ever race we had intended to last 2 hours in the history of the CIL. It is a race that is expected to be definitely contested, heavily contested, if you will, and a race that you would find or come to believe is more or less a marathon. This is certainly not a sprint. I do not expect people to win this race in turn one, mostly because also turn one's a chicane, but you're not supposed to win this race in turn one. Now, if you win this race in turn one, I question you. But overall, more than anything, we're going to be running into an event that I believe we're going to see a lot of caution. I'll cautious, not caution. A lot of cautious driving, a lot of drivers, you know, playing it easy, playing it fair. You don't want to absolutely tear apart your stuff before the race even begins. Now, as we run through our starting order here, looks like 2 Ball State team cars are lining up P1 and 2 to start the evening. And P3 is an OCM car. P4 is Team Jake Cummings. P5, Team Ryan Whitlock. P6, the FIU 24. P7, Clinton Halterman. P8, Garrett Bitton. P9, Connor Greer. P10, Brandon Schulenberger. P11, Hunter Odesti. P12, Team Christian Brian Hill. P13, Jordan Ricky. P14, Jamie Pacencia. P15, Grant Metter. P16, Auburn. P17, West Virginia Wesleyan University. P18, Team M. Rose. Don't know what that means. Don't care. P19, University of Delaware. P20, Jason Sadley. P21, a Vortex Motorsports car. P22, Connor Bangle. P23, PCT. P24, Aiken Lamar. P25, the Drexel Dragons iRacing team. At P26, Auburn. P27, St. Clair. At P28, Team Arpit Coax. The drivers are coming down the final hill, heading into the last 2 corners. Before we get started, this race is going to be heavily intense. 2 hours on the clock, more than prepared. My esteemed panel, they're in the cars. I'm not, because I suck at them. But here we are. They're coming out of the last corner. The pace car is in. We're watching Ball State number 12. He launches at the DRS line. Not yet. Will he? Does he? Can we get going? They're still pacing, and it is. They're still pacing.
There we go. There's green.
Go! It's green here from Imola. We are racing. We are under control. Hanging into the brakes here in the turn 1. Do we get away clean? I sure hope we do. Oh, we have torn the grass and the Gremlins are bombing the lead. Here comes Caleb Davidson. Caleb Davidson to the lead.
We got some shuffling there, fighting for the win.
That's Jake Cummings. Jake Cummings in the P2 right here. Can he get the pass done? Olive cuts him close. Olive takes the position back.
I got a car on my left.
Car to his left. That left, I think that's Ryan Whitlock. Olive flashes his lights. I think he's not. I don't think he's too happy right there with Caleb. Here comes cars side by side with you there, Ryan. I think that is Mr. Vinton. And P, yes,
it's
it is
a long
Mr.
race.
Vinton.
I'm just trying to survive right now.
He's right beside you. I understand, good buddy. Keep driving the wheels off the thing. Ricky says don't door somebody. I quite understand that. Here comes Cale Davidson in the Aqua Minerale. He dives at the corner deep, holding it tough and firm. He gets right back up the hill. He's got a great lead going on here. Oh, boy. Lots of cars. They're filing in single file right now. Looking pretty solid. We got a little bit of spiciness back there from Hunter Odesti. He's looking at Christian Hill. But now they're going to get into the chicane here. They're looking pretty okay right there. Oh, look at this squirtiness. I think that was from the Virginia Wesleyan car. Oh, that's okay. Down here in the lead, looks like we have Cale Davidson. He's looking pretty firm, pretty smooth. He comes out of the last corner, heading up through the straightaway. His Ferrari has the lead. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Great start by Cale to take the lead from Alif. I knew that was going to be tough to do. I lost a couple of spots there, but I think my pace is all right. This is a long race. But a clean lap 1, the first lap in the CSC, and we are clean. We have made it through. I figured turn 1 was going to be tricky for these guys to get through with all those chicanes, all those curbs, too, if you want to avoid, especially back-to-back chicanes going from Tamburello to Villeneuve. But I'm proud of this field.
Turned
Let's
back
get
here
going.
for 16th. But man, 21st to 16th in 1 lap. I don't think I've ever raced as hard in my life, and I've raced some good guys, that's for sure.
Great moves, buddy.
Yeah, I can't let the people think the admins are bad. I mean, you know,
Okay.
bad qualifying.
Yeah, I got some work to do.
But yeah, come on now.
Whoa. You said you almost got turned. Who almost turned you?
I think it was Zachary Whitty, that 86 car going into that first turn, or the first chicane. That was pretty hairy, man.
Well, he's fallen back a couple places. I think right now he's in P. It looks to be P17 on my board, but I think he's fallen a few spots since then. I think he's looking like P18, P19. But would you consider that an act of vehicular terrorism?
I don't know. If he would have hit me, you know, it would have been.
I'm right on the bumper of Garrett Vite, and I'm going to try to get his toe going into turn 1, but I've also got my good friend Clint Halterman keeping me honest behind as well.
Well, you know what they say about that Clint Halterman fella. You know, he's running Orange Wheels, you know, from the Orange Wheel Racing Team. Sponsor. But, you know, he's looking pretty solid right there.
Good exit by Garrett.
Right ahead. Oh, that's a great exit from the man. The member of the Giga Chads. That's Garrett Vinton up ahead. He's got forks up all across the nose of that car. He's looking pretty solid right now. A lot of drivers in Ferraris this evening did not expect to see that, but it's a welcome sight here in the country known as Italia.
Yeah, this is the Tifosi 2 hour, so I'm sure all of our virtual Ferrari fans are happy to see themselves represented here. Oh, Garrett Vinton kind of missed his apex there. I know the outside's not going to work, but I'll at least try to scare him.
You said boo, didn't you? He went wide. Coming up the hill.
It was almost Halloween now.
Bark. I got a bark.
Don't be like Nordberg with them Halloween pants now, will you? Gets into the corner.
Yeah, I'm right on his bumper, but this is just not a good passing zone.
I think it is a supplement or I'll send it. Gavin, smart man. I'm encouraging too much bad driving for this only being like 3 minutes in, am I?
It's a 2-hour-long race.
Well, I mean, you know, what can you do?
By IMSA standards, that's a sprint, so...
You're completely correct.
It looks like the battle for the lead is still continuing, and nobody has pulled out any gas here in this top 10.
It's heating up. Armand Belief, usually known as Ball State's poster boy, the man who, by all means, he is the best driver out of that stable. He's keeping Cale Davidson honest right now. Cale Davidson running up through the field. Now, Cale Davidson, he has a partner in that car by the name of Lucas Moody. Lucas Moody is not driving right now. And also,
I didn't know if they were a two-driver car. That would be a dynamic to watch later.
Would like to extend a heartfelt hello to a frequent watcher of the... As we got a pass for the lead, that is Arma Hammond Leaf passing the person's...
Vortex, baby, let's go!
Passing the person's child of who I was about to shout out on the broadcast, Mrs. The mother of Cale Davidson. I do not know your name. You're a frequent watcher of our streams. We thank you for constantly watching your son. He is an excellent driver on and off the course. He just got passed, and I'm very sorry. I didn't really call that too well. I apologize. He's got Jake Cummings hounding behind the rear bumper right there. Don't really know exactly what Jake Cummings is planning on doing. You know, he is showing a lot of pace tonight.
They are fighting. They are so close.
You didn't expect it. You didn't expect it out of the man, but it's a welcome sight indeed. He's got a purple Corvette, you know, from Converse University out there. But he's also got another car keeping him honest, a Team OCM car, which Ben Fiore is one of the drivers driving that car. Looks to be Emmanuel College and Marist College. Two schools that, I mean, Marist, if you know about Marist, you watch a lot of college basketball. I don't even know what Emmanuel College is, but I mean, glad to have them in the sport. Behind them is Luis Diaz. He's running in his Ford Fusion right now. Not Ford Fusion.
Hey, that'd be an interesting GT3 car.
It would. Got a Ford
enough, baby. I'll drive it.
Got a Ford Mustang running right there in the front end, looking pretty solid. He's got Garrett Vinton behind him, and then Ryan Whitlock behind them. But don't you worry, fellow OWR teammate to Ryan Whitlock, that would be Clint Halterman. He's looking nice and spicy, and he's right behind him. Now, gentlemen, I believe we have just hit the 10-minute mark. If I'm not, an hour and 50 minutes to go.
10 minutes of my life.
Yeah, I bet it was. The first 10 minutes of the race. How are we doing? How are we feeling? What exactly is on your minds?
The front of this field is throwing down some really impressive laps. I think all of us are in the low 43s. I think from position to position, it's averaged out to about a second gap everywhere. But, I mean, you know, I'd mentioned those fuel tanks earlier. Strategy is going to come into play if on-track passing doesn't happen. I'm just really impressed by the pace of everybody up here. long distance between races. This isn't a weekly series, so people have clearly put in the practice time.
I'll tell you, the track is warm, and that's not the only strategy we're going to see tonight. People are going to hit that incident limit. Imola is known for its difficulty with off tracks. We're only allotted 30 here in the car, and that's per team. So especially those 2-car teams, someone's warm, you put in a new guy, he might rack up some of those incident points. We're going to see some drive-thrus tonight.
That's a great point, Ricky. I almost forgot to mention that. As well as if your first driver racks up a bunch of incident points trying some things he maybe shouldn't, that's going to put your second driver in a tough position. He's going to have to manage all those off tracks.
I got a bone to pick with the director. He's in my esteemed panel. You do realize I'm going to be driving some of these races, and you only gave me 30 off tracks? What are you?
And I just locked up going into turn 1. Well, that was
what happened? He's in the gravel. He's eating dirt, eating some sand. This isn't a good look. This isn't a good move. He's going to get right back out of it. That's another car. 2 other cars. He's behind Christian. That's another Ford. Don't know who that guy. That's Connor Greer. Oh, there goes Hunter Hardesty, the man from Alabama. He is running away in his Ford Fusion from Ford Mustang from Ryan Whitlock. He's driving out of the corner now. Ryan Whitlock, he's under some pressure from Jamie Placencia.
Yeah, I had to dial in a bit of brake bias there. I probably just lost my concentration like a doofus, but I'm paying the price, and my rear tires are still just a little bit warm from that.
Just a little bit warm, if you will. I respect
Hunter
the
missed
call.
his apex, though.
He did miss his apex, did he? Did he now? Yes, he did. When the Mustang came into fruition, a lot of people were questioning why is it a GT3 when it's also a GT4. And you got to look at the car. It's pretty big, it's pretty bulky, it's pretty heavy. And just like that, he couldn't get the power down. Here comes Ryan Whitlock. He's looking inside, he's looking outside. No, he's very calm, cool, and collected. He will not dive it in this time by. But that's all right. Here we come through the last corner. Who gets the power down first? Hunter Hardesty does, but it wasn't a great drive off the corner. Here comes Ryan Whitlock. He's going to take a lot of that air. He's going to grab some great suck from behind Hunter Hardesty's car. It's going to give him a lot of speed boost. Will he make a dive into the first corner here in Tamburello? Will he? Won't he? No, he will not. Another chicane set up for Hunter Hardesty. He's got to get the power down, though.
I said boo, though. I said boo.
He said boo. He's got him scared. Here we go with the Villeneuve. Will he dive? No, he won't. He said boo again. He picked his nose up peekaboo like he's a 2-year-old.
I said boo again.
Oh, boy. Hunter in the gravel. Here comes Ryan Whitlock to P11 with command.
Chasing down my UAH teammate up ahead for a top 10. I'm still so disappointed in myself for that turn 1 mistake, but there's plenty of time to make it up.
You are correct. You got a lot of time here, buddy. I think the last time I checked the counter, you got about an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's it's not exactly a walk in the park. That's a little bit of time to work.
Yeah, a lot of great minds.
Another thing to mention now that we're in the race and I'm thinking about it, this is not an easy 2-stop, 3-stint race. Some of these cars, some of these fuel tanks, 75% gets you just barely to 40 minutes. So we might have some people doing a little bit of fuel save, might have some people at the end forgetting to and having to splash and dash.
You are completely correct. Completely correct, if you will. Going on down the order here, I'd like to highlight the car that's currently running caboose right now. That would be Mr. Alan Hong out of St. Clair College. He's 47 seconds off the pace right now, but like you said, gentlemen, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Wholly expect Alan Hong right here. He's just carrying on right now, doing exactly what he needs to do in order to, just carry on and come into the race. Now, we have the 15 and the 10. There is a lap 7 incident that needs to come under review. I don't know if we can get a replay or not of exactly what kind of incident occurred. But let me see if I can come back in time to you here. looking at it here, it was in the top of the hill. Got a replay according to my boy up here in the booth. But it looks like, oh no, there's not really much to tell you. The 15 car just spun on his own, and the 10 car was just the outside. No need for a replay. Jamie Placencia kept it firm and kept it strong. And it is ahead. Oh, he just got hit from behind. Who did hit him? That's vehicular terrorism from Jordan Ricky. Jordan Ricky just sent it deep in there, hit the rear end, and it
my
spun
teammate.
around.
Freebie, baby, freebie.
That's a free position for a man from a Vortex car. I think that's Ricky Pass. Ricky, what's on your mind?
Listen, I might be the slowest Vortex car on track, but I am having a blast out here.
I mean, he's having a blast, folks. He says he's having a blast. I don't know exactly what position he's in right now. The monitor says P15.
Top 15, baby.
Top 15 right now. You can't beat it. He's got a car ahead of him. Don't know exactly what car is ahead of him. That would not be John LaFont. Is that John LaFont? No, it's not. It's Grant Manor. Grant Manor.
Color 03 car just touched a little bit of grass going into turn
meter?
1.
What's a meter? I only know feet. Grant Meter, he is he's coming into turn 1 here. He's got a little bit of a lead right now. He's P14. Looking pretty solid right now on top of Ricky there at P15, but that's okay. That's okay. It is a marathon, ladies and gentlemen. It's not so. Oh no. He's beached in the gravel. What happened here? Let's go through it together here, gentlemen. Looking like we're going into first chicane and takes a little bit too much curving. A little bit too much curving again, and oh boy! We're in the gravel. We're beached. We are beached. That is not a good position to be in. Ricky.
Listen, it's a commentator's curse from the commentator's mouth. It's my own mouth.
It's your own mouth, they say. Well, you know, all I have to tell you, sir, is you got a titan of the sport behind you. I hope you know how to handle Mr. Jason Wallen. He's right behind you. Also dealing with, I believe that's the 68 of Connor Bingle, if you will. That's a search engine. Meanwhile, back in the front of the field, it's our Muhammad Ali. He's in the lead. He is right at about the 20-minute mark, and he's already starting to pull away to a 5-second gap over Jake Cummings, who has passed Mrs. Davidson's favorite driver, Cale Davidson, who is in P3 and has the 4th car in line of Ben Fiore really to worry about. Gentlemen, my esteemed panel here this evening, it's looking pretty interesting right now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when Jake got past Cale earlier. I saw that those gaps were close, but obviously I'm trying to focus on my own race. You know, I know Jake has pace in this Corvette. I'm not sure what Cale is driving, but I don't know how much practice times Cale has put in. I've been talking to him a little bit.
That would be the Ferrari for those Vortex guys.
Gotcha. I know the Ferrari's got pace, given that a Leaf is driving it. I'm surprised about the pace Jake Cummings is able to get out of that Corvette. Props to him for that.
Second chicane. Number 24 car.
24 car.
Chasing that gravel a little bit.
What has happened to him? Wreck into chicane? Yes, it was. I mean, a wreck is a stretch. The 24 just seems to have taken just a little bit too much curving, and he went straight into the gravel. But he looks to be in better spirits now.
I'll pass him here.
And you will pass him, will you? Aquaman Raleigh, good sir, and still a good portion behind him. What do you mean, pass?
Oh, don't worry. Give it a lap here, bucko.
Give it a lap. You just never really know.
Connor Greer's 03 car is right on the bumper and Schulenberger in the 7. I've got a front row seat to this. Maybe I'll try to make something out of it. I think the Mustang's got better straight lines than Corvette. And Connor Greer gets it done around the outside on Brandon Schulenberger. I'm going to try my best to capitalize. I hit way too much like Angus. Me and Brandon are in equal equipment. Maybe I'll try to do something out of later corner.
Your pass is coming up straight away, baby.
Ricky pass.
Never mind, I lost it. Momentum.
Never mind. Never mind. You know, Ricky, if you're gonna tell me that you're gonna pass
Hold on,
in
here we
line-
go.
There you go. Wait, what?
Got her done.
Congratulations, good sir. Congratulations. Wish we could
Hey,
have
20
seen it
seconds,
on
20
the screen.
second, baby.
Wish we could have seen it 20-second. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Ricky Paz. He's at P22 right now. It's a marathon.
There's a car in the wall exiting Aqua Minerale. That is the number 34 car of Benjamin Fiore. That's a pretty easy corner to loop it around at.
Not Ben Fiore, no. Oh, darn.
Probably just took too much of that AstroTurf, maybe too much of the sausage curve at the apex of that corner, and must have looped it around.
If we could get a replay, I'd love to see it.
It was a lap 11, 34 car.
Well, so, look to me. Hey,
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our broadcaster up in here, Nick
Iacchino. I'm gonna break the fourth wall here. Nick, your stream died, and I cannot see exactly what you're showing me. By the way, just thought I'd let you know. That's a fourth wall break from Nick Stockner, sponsored by Orange Wheel Racing. Orange Wheel Racing. We're better than Vortex. Moving on.
Yeah, the beef is real, guys.
Moving on. Muhammad Ali, a Vortex driver, quote unquote. He says he's forced against his will, by the way. He's in the lead.
That is not true. That is not true.
Show. He is in the lead of this show. He is running 1 minute 43s right now. Decent times, I think. I don't know. If I was in the car, I'd be running like 150s.
I'm still working on Jake Cummings in the 7 car. Excuse me, Brennan Schulenberger 7 car.
It's easy to get those two confused.
I know they're good friends. I think my downforce is just too high. I've got no pace on this front straightaway, the passing area in the track.
You know, oftentimes when I think about, pulling somebody in for an interview, they got to be somebody who is having a pretty clean race and not really doing much about it. We have an admin broadcast this evening, but we're going to add one more in here. I'm going to bring in Christian here into the booth if I can even move him. I don't even think I can.
Our production manager.
I don't even think I can move him in here. That's kind of interesting. I can't move him. Let me see.
You're working on that. Let me say this to the broadcast. This is the first, well, this isn't the first, but this is the only series we're running this season with open setups. So while you gotta figure out the track and while you gotta figure out the car, you also gotta figure out a setup, which is a lot more to add to drivers' plates.
That's a great point, Ricky. I know I mentioned my high downforce setup earlier, but kind of forgot that we're the only open setup. I chose to go with open setups for this league because everybody's running different cars. Maybe if the balance of performance of one car in iRacing isn't favorable, you can still put in that time in the setup shop to find lap time. But we're witnessing, as I struggle to pass my teammate here, Connor Greer, the straight line speed of that Mustang. I think my Corvette's a little bit more compliant over the curves than his Mustang, but we're just witnessing that difference between the cars, part of what makes this series so unique.
Right you are, good sir, right you are. A lot of differences in these cars. When I think about it, I think about what kind of balance do I want? Do I want a car that has good cornering but no speed in the straights? Do I want a car with a lot of speed in the straights but no cornering? Do I want a little bit of both? What exactly are you going to get? It's hard to tell. But personally, I think there needs to be a 15 horsepower advantage to the Corvettes in the field, if you ask me. But I'm not the one who made the series. So,
Hey Nick, let's ask. When you do run your 2 races in this series, what car are you running?
I'm going to be driving the Corvette. I'm going to be driving my trusty C8, sponsored by Crab Rangoon Motorsports. Crab Rangoon Motorsports. Crab Rangoon's a taste. We plan on having a really good season. Plan on racing the Road Atlanta race, which is home of Orangeville Racing, and also racing the Watkins Glen race, because I'm a Cup guy through and through, and Watkins Glen is one of the 2 road courses that I at least know more corners than not. But then again, we're going to Boot, and that's absolutely unknown territory to me. So we're going to see exactly what we can do. But thank you
Extra corners to learn between now and then, you know?
Right on the bumper, my teammate here.
Thank you for the question. I'm glad you're asking what's on my mind. But we got a teammate battle coming on here between Ryan Whitlock and Connor Greer. And he just passed him. He just took him to town. And he's right back on it. Connor Greer said, no, sir, give me some shot. He's going to try to get the push. He's looking to push him, maybe. Is he looking to push him? He's right there on the rear bumper. He's looking pretty feisty. He's
defending that inside line all the way.
Oh, he's going to defend that inside line. But here comes Brandon Schollenberger. He's giving him the push. Last of the late breakers. Who is it? It's going to be Ryan Whitlock. Good show, sir.
Yeah, that was tough. Straight line speed of the Mustang, I think, is better than my Corvette. But I knew I was quicker through that one particular corner. Tried my best to make it happen. Christian Hill up ahead just hit all kinds of curve at the place you don't want to do it. Let's see what his run through Tosa's like. Pretty good exit, mid-engine in that Lamborghini. Lots of naturally aspirated V10 power. I'll do what I can.
Tell you what, the Lamborghini was not something that I thought would be fast this week, but when we did the research, it packs a punch in that little thing.
You know, little tidbit about the Lamborghini GT3. It's the only homologated GT3 car that is allowed to have a V10 engine. It is dumbed down a slight bit, just a slight bit, but it
and of
does
course its
have...
sister, the Audi.
Yeah, the Audi has a V10.
Yeah, they run, they're very similar cars. Same exact engine, I think.
Oh. Well, I learned something new. You know, the Audi's not even in the field tonight, so, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care. But, you know, we're moving on.
Got Sean Baldy, he spun again.
Where is that guy?
I'm not sure. Looking like number 15 car just had another incident on the back half of the track here.
The 15 car. That's a shame. That's a shame.
And Adrian was in it too.
Oh boy, not again. I've got a penalty to report to you all. I know this is a little bit of a competitive advantage, but I think you two know already. The 28 car has a 10-second penalty and a strike for contact. The 28, that's Luis Diaz.
Oh, no.
He apparently hit the 34, and that is why both Ben Fiore, my dark horse pick to have a decent podium day, is no longer in podium contention at this moment. But that's a 10-second penalty. Right now, if you take that 10 seconds into consideration, Luis Diaz is only P6 on track. But there's another incident under review, the 38 and the 15. I think they believe that the 38 had a little bit of something to do with it. Now, we're 31 minutes into this race, I do believe, or are we not actually? We're just about 30 minutes into this race as we speak. People are pitting. Is this a fuel consumption issue? Is this a...
That seemed like an incident-related issue.
That seemed like
Yeah,
an
it's probably an
incident.
incident. That would be a commitment to a 3-stop, 4-stint race, and I think a lot of people can do 2 stops. But around the 30-minute mark, that does split up nicely into 4 stints rather than 3, I will admit.
Thank you for the
I
information.
just don't think that the pace has fallen off enough to make it work, if I'm honest. I mean, Leaf is
agree.
running fastest laps of the race in the front. All these guys are running faster and faster. Now that the fuel is less and less, I mean, I don't see how it's a viable strategy.
I think it's only something you want to run if you're forced into it.
A battle
I
of
would agree with
Germans
that.
is commencing up here.
Sean Baldy has left the session. That car is done. Sorry, Nick.
Oh boy. A
Christian
battle of
Hill just
Germans,
yeah.
if you will, a battle of Germans. It looks like a BMW and a Mercedes are going at it. That's Jason Wallet, self-proclaimed titan of the sport, if you will. He is in P23.
If you will.
P22
If you will, that's right.
is the 16 car from Auburn. That's a team. Turner Brook. He's in the car. He's battling him, but he is trying to defend the position. He's defending a little bit wide, if you will. I think he's taking these corners a little bit too wide for my liking. But you know, Jason Wallet is a man that has a lot of calculation and a lot of poise. He takes these corners with precision. So much precision. Yeah.
He is a true insomnia cookie athlete, if you will.
You're correct. You know, even though he's no longer sponsored by Insomnia, which we did shed a tear for, he was sponsored by him at one point. Now, Jason Wallet, keep in mind, we do enjoy his company. It's showing my age, really, when I say this. He's becoming an elder statesman of the sport. He's been around for a few seasons now.
That's true.
I think this is his 3rd season of CIL.
Wow, we are all old up here in the booth, guys.
We're getting old. All 3 of us competed in season 3. And this is season 11.
Back before the
John LeBron in the bits, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're so old. We competed when the Cup Series in this league ran next Gen 6 cars.
Back in my day.
That 550 horsepower package, I'll tell you what. But about a lap ago, Adrian Tubakovic seems like he's off an Aqua Minerale as I approach that corner. About a lap ago, Christian Hill took a bit too much sausage curb at the Villeneuve chicane. I managed to get past him going into Tosa. See if I can hunt down Garrett Vitton for P6. That is, in fact, Adrian Tubakovic. Went off at Aqua
Ben
Minerale.
Fiore did it. That's a front run. That's a front runner on a different strategy, guys. Let me tell you, that'll be interesting to see.
Did you think that was damage related?
Most likely.
Like he brought someone else with him, so either it was an incident or they're trying something different, guys.
I don't think tire fall off matters that much in these GT3 cars. I mean, you don't want to double stint tires, but these are short and stint anyways. So yeah, that must be damage related for that car.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Yeah, what's a Leaf's gap to the lead or gap to P2? I'm sure that's grown by now.
10 seconds.
9.5 seconds right now. Back to
Pull off in the final turn.
Oh!
That might be the 86 car of Zachary Whitty.
He was off in the final corner. Yeah, he was. Checking my replay here. He just spun it. Dipped it in the dirt. Did a little bit of a toe tap. And he got back rolling. But, you know, he did gain some time on him, Ricky, so there you go. Gentlemen.
That's right, baby.
If you would like to know your gap to the leader, Mr. Whitlock, you're 32 seconds behind our Muhammad Ali right now. Ricky, you're a minute 14 seconds behind our Muhammad Ali. Gentlemen, now that I've given you this information, what's on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind right now is I think John LaFawn, number 29 car, just went off at the final complex of corners. And, Christian Hill, despite me getting past him at the Villeneuve chicane 2 laps ago, he's keeping me honest. I haven't really gapped him. I'm running the best pace I can, still in the 43s, but I think I need to put it up another gear if I really want to pull away from them.
You know, let me tell you, as the head of Vortex talking to the head of OWR, listen, we don't run these races because we're good. We run the team because we find the people that can do it for us, you know? And my guys are up there, so, you know, just like Christian Horner, he's got a few champions under his belt, but he was a terrible driver. So, you know, that happens sometimes.
So you're
Here, buddy. If there is a king of finding talent while I suck, it's me. You know, as the team leader of OWR, I'm here to tell you, I hired the best because I'm the worst, and that's okay. You know,
I just missed a shift.
Oh, I should. But the fact is that I focus on Mondays and Wednesdays only when we're only turning left. Other than that, we're like yesterday, where I wreck halfway into the IndyCar race because I don't know what a cold tire is.
Well, I'll tell you what, when Cup goes to Road America, that's going to be an adventure for our teams.
Oh, Road America? You mean
Road Atlanta?
Road Atlanta.
You mean the home of OWR?
The best racetrack on the face of the planet, Road Atlanta? Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta?
You know, people are probably thinking in chat right now, is this the first time we have ever driven with GT3 cars? And the answer is actually no. GT3 lasted for, it was not in the, GT3 cars had been in the series since, from the pilot season to season 6. And then they took a hiatus. But in season 5 of competition, the last GT3 race of the season was held at Road Atlanta, and Mr. Ryan Whitlock here, in our chat to see part of my esteemed panel, he was a championship contender until what turn, sir?
I don't know, Nick. You tell me.
That'd be turn 6. In turn 6, Ryan Whitlock decides to go to the outside for some reason and gets pushed into the grass. He got pushed, to be fair. Justin Roberts did push him. But,
that's not a passing opportunity anyways. But
it wasn't a passing opportunity, but the man dove it in there. That was, I think if I remember correctly, that was one of my first calls ever being a commentator.
You were calling that race, too.
I did call that race, just as I'm calling this one tonight. Way to make me feel old. I've been competing in this league for 8 seasons, and I have still yet to win a race. But that's okay.
You were there before the GT3 hiatus.
You and me both here, Stuckner.
One of these days I will win a race, and when I do, it is in the bylaws that this league dissolves. But until that day occurs, I'm still gonna try.
I'm reeling in Garrett Vitten. I apologize if I get that wrong. Last I checked, that gap was 10 seconds. Now it's 8. Long race, plenty of time still to go. I don't think I'm going to get in this stint, but it's nice to know that gap, I am reeling it in.
Of course. You know, ladies and gentlemen, this race is often incredibly long, be it is 2 hours. We would like to present to you a moment that we usually do in the Cup broadcast when, you know, it's getting kind of long. We'll do one there. Time to crank up that volume, ladies and gentlemen. Hear the roar of these V8 and V10 motors, because it's time for another edition of CIL. Crank it up. We'll be back momentarily.
All right, we are back. Lots of us have just made green flag pit stops. I managed to stay just barely ahead of Christian Hill here. But it looks like most drivers are doing what I expected us all to do. We're doing a 3-stint, 2-stop race, able to just barely get past 40 minutes. So that's going to be a 40-minute, hour 20, and then finish. Going to be stints today. I think we had a little bit of shuffling in the pit lane. Looks like Louis Diaz served that 10-second time penalty in the pits. So he's a good bit closer to me than he was before we made our pit stops. I think in this next lap, maybe everybody else is going to make their stops as well, and then we'll have a continued running after all the pit stops and net position swaps have been sorted out. I believe most of us should have taken a full tank of fuel, given it's a 75% tank, and taken tires here. Tires are done at the same time as fuel, so there's really not much of a reason to not take tires. I'm curious if any of our 2-driver cars have made driver swaps. I know one of our leader cars, Cale Davidson, and I believe that 21 Ball State University Ferrari, I believe he is staying in the car, and then Lucas Moody will be taking over for that final stint. How you doing, Ricky?
We're surviving around here, you know. I got a leaf right on my tail after pits. So obviously I'll let him by here. Good teammate of ours over at Vortex Motorsports. Gotta shout him out. So we'll let him go, and then we'll kind of settle in. Hoping we can gain some positions on the pit cycle, but it just doesn't seem that way yet.
Yeah, in the pit cycle, you know, I believe everybody's going to be running about the same strategy, but if you go 1 lap sooner, 1 lap later, depending on how well you enter your box, there's definitely some time to be gained in the pit cycle. I know my FC race last night could have been a lot better just because my box entries weren't very good. I'm curious see if that's shuffled around much today as I go by Jason Wallet in the number 76 Drexel car. Looks like Louis Diaz is slightly quicker than me here. We'll see what the relative looks like as our tires start to warm up as we come out of the pits. It's one thing about this Corvette, on cold tires, it's really not that bad, but it does take a couple of laps for them to really get up to temp.
Yeah, when my tires were warm on that last run, I was struggling quite a bit, actually, so it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up during the course of this run.
Yeah, my right front tire is in the low 80s in terms of wear, which is not bad, but not wonderful. You'll certainly start to feel that.
Yeah, 80% for my right front, and that was the lowest tire on the car, so...
Yeah, lots of left-hand corners, counterclockwise circuit here at Imola, so I imagine the right sides will be the most worn. No real reason to take only one side over the other, though. Garrett Vittin looks like he just came out of the pits right behind Louis Diaz. 28 and 27 car fighting for P5.
Jake Cummings is starting to gain on a leaf. That gap is only 3 seconds, so we'll have to keep you updated on that story. Not sure what happened there.
Leaf's pit must have not been very good. I see 2 Mustangs fighting hard in the Villeneuve chicane. Teammate Connor Greer and another Mustang. I can't quite see who that is as I focus on my own corner. But get by. Connor Greer run wide at Villeneuve chicane into the gravel, but he's back on track. Tires might be a little dirty, but he'll be looking for revenge. Excuse me, that's actually Connor Bingle from UAH. They're both running Mustangs. I made both of those paint schemes. My mistake. But yeah, Connor Bingle, P23. I actually talked to him before this race. He worked hard to get his license high enough to run this series. He's very much an oval short track guy, but he's put in the time to make the field. I told him what a reasonable estimate for 107% quali would be. He was aiming for it. He's been working hard, so I'm definitely glad to have another UAH teammate on board. 4 UAH cars this race. I'm really happy to see that. And a lot of cars still in the race. I mean, at least 25 cars still on track. Debut race of the Collegiate Sportscar Challenge. That's good turnout for a race this long. I think the track temp has warmed up a good bit. My pace is not as good on this second stint as it was the first stint.
That's interesting you say that, because my pace on this second stint is a lot better than my pace was on the first stint. So, very interesting. Maybe, you know, like we said, open setups. My setup might be just a little bit different than yours.
Yeah, yours might be worse as the stint goes on. Mine might be a little bit better as fuel burns off.
Yeah, and these are just some of these varying strategies that we're seeing today, you know?
Yeah, strategies in how you set up the car, strategies in how you make your pit stops. Strategy in terms of, you know, which corners you decide to make passes on and which one you choose to wait. I think this is definitely a track where there's a few defined overtaking zones that are for sure the best, but a couple spots where if you've got the gut, then you can go for it. Here into Aqua Minerale, I've seen passes happen here. They're scary, but they're possible. I think I see two Corvettes fighting side by side coming out of the last corner there.
How scary would you call it, Ryan Woodlock?
How scary would I call? I totally forgot what I was talking about.
Passing.
Passing into Aqua Minerale, very spooky. That's such a one-lane racetrack. You know, if it were raining, the rubber groove through there would just be atrocious.
Oh, well, you know, that's a good thing. We're not supposed to see rain. Am I right? Actually, there is a chance of precipitation, but it's in about 3 hours, so it won't matter. You know, when I'd like to think back into the past about previous GT3 races, I don't know if we ever raced at Imola, but...
we have. Racing's been good historically here. It's not an uncommon sight on our schedule.
I will say most of Imola has been for our open wheel series, though, as of late.
Well, to be fair, yeah, we haven't, until last season, we weren't racing sports cars.
Yeah, GTPs do fall under that sports car banner, but I don't think Imola was on that schedule. I think, did we do Monza in the prototypes?
Yes.
Ah.
But
as I door Aiken Lamar getting past him at the exit at Tosa. I'd like it if you just...
How long were the pit stops here, Ryan?
They should be just about 30 to 35 seconds. That's how long that's how long the driver swap takes. Driver swap actually takes exactly 30 seconds from the moment your car stops.
Gotcha.
So that fuel should take just a hair longer than that. As I'm looking at my teammate Connor Bingle here, trying to get past him for the lap on him.
Now, gentlemen, I don't know if I'm going to comment on this, but are Muhammad Ali and Cale Davidson, if they have pitted, they did not driver swap. They are still in their respective cars.
That's correct.
What does that say about that they're going to have to bring in Lucas Moody, and I forget who Alif registered?
I believe Alif is solo driving, but yes, Cale Davidson is co-driving with Lucas Moody. Lucas Moody is going to have to be in the car for that last stint. I think Alif is solo driving. I'm not sure how that works out. I know I've got a spreadsheet with all the drivers and 2 driver car combinations. Might have to take a peek at that to determine. Ooh, we got a car off at the exit of the Tamarillo chicane. That is Arpad Kovacs. That is the number 24 car in 22nd place. I think he's about to lose some spots to some of the lap guys behind me.
I see.
I still have Christian Hill on my butt, half a second behind.
Yes, according to my report, actually, Alif isn't on your list, but according to my report, Alif, it doesn't have a co-driver. According to reports. Now, I don't know who has the power to move him in here, but we got Christian in an interview waiting room. Don't know how we can bring him in.
You should have that power, Nick.
I'm clicking
right-click on him, maybe?
I'm clicking on him.
You should be able to just click on his name and drag him up, actually.
Yeah, click and drag.
Ah.
There we go. Christian
We
Hill
brought him
in the
in
booth.
here. He's now a member of my esteemed panel.
Another
Christian-
admin in the all-admin broadcast.
Christian
Hello.
Hill, what is on your mind?
Ryan's asked.
Oh, boy.
I think we have the same
Oh,
case here, dude.
Sorry about that. Ryan's Tushy. Yes. I'm like it's interesting. You're a little faster in some places. I'm a little faster in some places.
I think we're witnessing car differences here.
Yeah, I think we are.
I don't know about you, but I feel like my car does not have great straight line speed.
Mine's all right. I have I really enjoy the cornering of this, and it's super safe on the brakes.
Yes, the Lamborghini is a really good car mid-corner. I can confirm. I've got quite a bit of experience with the Lamborghini.
Woo.
I'm actually surprised that the balanced performance this season brought it closer to the rest of the field. I know in previous iRacing seasons it was a very poor choice.
Yeah, I did the 3-hour Glen race 2 seasons ago, and I was trying everything I could, and I just couldn't get anywhere near anyone else. I'm glad they brought the Lambo back with BOP.
Yeah, I remember doing a 24 hours of Spa, and we just had to take so much wing out of it to have any sort of pace on the Kimmel Straight. So definitely glad to see it represented here in the Collegiate Sports Car Challenge. Glad that you're running it, you're enjoying it. Had a good fight so far. I hope to not go wheel to wheel with you anymore, though.
It's pretty difficult to pass here, I have to say. The draft isn't super strong at Imola in the GT3s, so you have to really kind of just capitalize on any mistakes. And well, Ryan, you really haven't made any.
I mean, I made one early in the race, breaking into turn 1, but that was like 10 minutes in, and this race is so long. I think things have equalized and are where they would have been. I think you and I are both catching Garrett Vitton and Louis
Number
Diaz.
16 car of Pierce Seeley is broken. That right front is dead. I think that's the end of their day, guys.
It just might be.
I think this is debut race for Pierce Steely in the Collegiate iRacing League. Unfortunate to see their day end early.
It would be. Christian, I do have a question for you.
Yeah, you just gotta speak up when you talk.
I asked chat, I asked my esteemed panel, I asked myself, I'll ask you. You know these GT3 cars, they are modified counterparts of real life cars. If you could take one of these GT3 cars and unmodify it back into its real life counterpart, which one would you drive?
So,
Looks like
does it
my
go back?
teammate Jordan Ricky getting pressured on the front stretch. Headlights flashing.
Does it go back into its homologation state, or just like the generic like?
It's
Corvette?
street car state.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Oh, in that case, I'm taking the Porsche. I changed my answer from
Yeah,
the
'cause that's a
Corvette to
Porsche
the
GT3.
Porsche.
Good
But
point.
the
not just
Corvette's
Carrera.
the Corvette's
The
the
Z06.
Z06 Corvette. That's still a damn good car.
Oh, I
Pardon
don't
my-
disagree with you.
Although the Mustang is the dark horse.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
Or
It's the GTD.
GTD. That's
Oh,
a good
that's
car, too.
right. The
Even-
GTD
even
is even
crazier.
nicer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's $300,000.
Yeah, the Mustang
Hey,
might be a.
Jacob Cummings is off, guys. Jacob Cummings is off.
Uh-oh.
He was one of our front runners. He's getting passed bad here.
Running P2, and now he's gonna go P3. Jake Cummings is now only 2 seconds ahead of Clint, fighting with Kale for second place here.
What the heck?
He just had some snap oversteer.
Robert Stockton struggling to drive that car. I think he might be losing a little bit of focus with cars passing him. That's all right though. Plenty of time still to go.
He did get passed by Caleb Davidson. Caleb Davidson back to P2.
Someone needs to tell that man it's time to lock in.
Who? Kale? He's got to catch a leaf. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're talking about Robert Stockton losing focus.
Yeah. Let's see. He's currently running P21 though. I think that's also his debut. So, I mean, hoping he sticks with it. We're already basically halfway through.
Hey, you know, we're talking about being old. The last GT3 race I remember running in this league was Phillip Island.
Man, what a
That-
track.
That was old.
You just made Ryan happy when you mentioned
That's a
Phillip
good...
Island.
look,
Phillip Island mention, guys.
Phillip Island mention, yeah, criminally underrated track in Australia. We ran it many GT3 seasons ago. Very fast, flowy track with grass runoff. Driver's track, I would say, with a straightaway just long enough to make moves and just barely get under the rear bumper of your fellow now admin and turn him around in turn one.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
No, you don't remember what I'm talking about, buddy?
Oh,
Sure you
I
do.
remember what you're talking about, but that was
Yeah,
some
Phillip
admin
Island.
on the admin beef before admins.
Coming spun again. He spun again. How on earth did that happen?
Now
What's he
he's
down
at
to now?
He's almost down to 5th. Luis Diaz is right behind him.
He gets into the corner and he took too much curbing for my liking. That's what happened. Mr. Holterman to P4 or P3. But with that being said, gentlemen, I think we need to bring another person in here so I can ask them what's on their mind. And I think I've got the guy to do it. He's currently running in P6. He's looking very, if you will, kind of alone. Doesn't really have much going on. I'm going to bring him in to the interview waiting room, and then I'm going to bring him here. We're going to talk to Mr. Garrett Hidden. Mr. Garrett, welcome to the interview booth. We're struggling in here this evening, but we see you're at P6, and I got to ask you, what's on your mind?
Just kind of fuel saving right now. Just kind of in a rhythm, trying to keep the incident points down. I caught quite a few early on because I had about 30 laps of total practice. Bought the track back on Monday. But no, we're just having a good time hanging with Jake and Brandon here. Jake's up ahead, Brandon's behind me, but we're just having a good time. Nothing too crazy. Just playing the field game, really.
Yeah, I think Jake made a couple mistakes earlier that lap. Can you speak to that any?
He did not take tires. I know that. He's going to take tires on the next stop.
That is news for us.
That's an interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, news for the broadcast. He didn't take tires.
We fully expected everybody to take tires every stop.
And so his are probably starting to get a little worn. And then he heated him up, and then he hit the sausage curb, and it looped him again. So, but yeah, he's doing okay.
that
These
point-
Apex sausage curbs are nothing to play with.
Yeah,
And
really.
according to that number of taking tires on the stop, I think that takes your pit stop from 30 to 35 seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he kind of just wants to see how it plays out with the weather, with the chance of rain. So, I figure if I'm going later in the runs, then I can, I have a better chance to determine what the weather's going to be like.
Well, if you want rain, y'all better start doing the rain dance, cause let me jinx it here, but I don't see it happening here tonight, guys.
Yeah, vortex theory, right?
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
looking at my weather black box.
baby.
There's a 0% chance for the next hour.
Okay.
Vortex mentioned, baby. 0% chance of rain, though. So
I know when I set
what are you
up
gonna
the
do?
session, I had rain set to unlikely, so that there is around a 20% chance close to the end of the race. But looks like that 20% chance has dissipated, so this is going to be a dry race.
Gotcha. Good to know.
Yep,
But yeah,
weather
so
black box is your friend.
yeah, I honestly haven't checked at all. But yeah, I've just been fuel saving. Was able to go 2 laps longer than basically everyone else besides Leaf. He's just curb stomping the entire field right now. So, but yeah, and I mean that's allowed me to keep my tires kind of cooler as well, as I mess up because I suck. But keep them a little cooler. And
Dun-dun.
yeah, really. And it should make my last little stint there a little easier than Jake. So, at least when it comes to tires.
Alan needs to just go.
Fair enough. One more question before you go, Garrett. We've been asking everybody this question this evening, chat included. You know these GT3 cars, they are heavily modified versions of street car counterparts. If you could take one of these GT3 cars and turn it back into its street car and have it as your personal vehicle, which one would it be?
Oh, I've always wanted a Porsche, so it would be the Porsche.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good pick. It is the GT3.
It's a solid pick.
Yeah, I like the Ferrari a lot. I'm driving it. I feel like it's one of the easiest to drive while also being fast. And I just didn't want to spend money on the Porsche. But
if it's free, hold on, but it's free.
The new one?
Oh no! I thought you were talking about like in the hypothetical scenario, like the car free.
No. Hypothetical scenario. I'm taking the Porsche. That's a given. I'm talking driving this in the sim.
Oh yeah, iRacing can be expensive these days. Let's go down that rabbit hole another time.
Well, at least it's not actually a 296.
That is true.
That's true.
That is true. But yeah, no, probably the Porsche, then the Ferrari's a close second.
Interesting. Well, that's great to hear. Anyone you'd like to shout out before you go?
Well, Jake and Brandon, because they're keeping me sane in this long endurance race. I've kind of just been by myself the entire time. I think my girlfriend might be watching, so she lets me have the time of day to actually do.
Girlfriend mentioned, baby, let's do it.
Girlfriend mentioned. She actually
Rare
lets me.
side in the CIA. I'm kidding.
she lets me have the time to go do this and have fun. So
It's
appreciate
okay to
her.
say your girlfriend's Jake Cummings in a wig. I mean, we would understand.
No comment.
Oh boy.
Giga Chad side, baby.
Giga Chad.
Garrett, it's been fun talking to you. Good luck the rest of the race. I'm going to start dragging it down bit by bit. See if we can't get you where we need you to go. It's going to be a little bit.
Thanks
difficult.
for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. Try not to go too crazy, guys.
Of course.
We already are.
Ryan, please don't catch me.
No promises. We just left him off with
What are you gonna do?
That gap has reduced by multiple seconds since this stint started, fellas.
That's exactly what I pulled him in here for. I tried to get him off his rocker, off his filter.
His lap times are going to improve now. Keep him in.
Strategery. Okay.
That Pierce
Meanwhile-
Steely car is back on track. I think it's worth mentioning that perseverance.
It is. It is back on track. It looks like it's got some damage, but and it went off track there, but it's back on the circuit. So
There's some damage that can't be fixed with flex tape.
you're correct. It's 9 laps down in 27th. It needs Alan Hong to get lapped 7 more times for him to have a position, but I'm not going to jinx anything, but that is, there is only about 50 some odd minutes left in this race. I'm not going to say it's possible, but there is a chance. Meanwhile, Alan Hong, persevering, if you will, a P26. He's up 1 position from where he started. He started in P27. He's having a decent day. He is the only car that's been lapped twice on pace, but he's been hanging in there. He's been doing what he needs to do. He's been running about 147s on track. A good show for Alan Hong. Way to stick it in there. At least you haven't wrecked, unlike the Virginia Wesleyan car, which hasn't continued racing, and the 16 Auburn car, which is 9 laps down.
Although it is worth mentioning, Nick, as far as persevering and finishing P27, I do fully expect the next 2 races in this championship to be more popular, and points only get paid to the top 10. But after that, it's your best result. So, let's say he gets P27 and the rest of the races this season have more cars. That P27 could be the difference in some championship results at the end of the season. So I think that's worth keeping in mind for all of our guys back there. I fully expect Road America and Glen to be more popular races.
Road Atlanta, but certainly it will be. Hunter Hidesti right now, he's in the final points paying position. in P10 for that singular, sweet point. He's battling Connor Greer for it. Connor Greer is only about 5/10 off him right now on track. That's
Both
about
in Mustangs.
one of the closest battles on the track. Some more runs to shout out of some people that you don't usually expect to be where they are. In his first race in the CIL, Jamie Placencia is in P12. Good show, sir. Jordan Ricky, he has returned to CIL competition after a long hiatus. P15 for Jordan Ricky. Congratulations to him. He's doing some damage. Adrian Tubakovic. Adrian Tubakovic, he's currently sitting in the 19th position. You know, through means either not of his own fault or just wrong place, wrong time, Tubakovic has usually ended up in the wrong side of affairs and is way down in the order. So for him to be running, granted a lap down, but running in the top 20, an excellent run today for Mr. Tubakovic. And then, you know, he may be 25 seconds off the pace, but Cale Davidson in P2, he's having a great day. Hi, Mrs. Davidson, once again. Cale's having a wonderful evening this evening. He's still running his car right now. He will have to hand it off to Lucas Moody here shortly as we're getting ready for that last round of stops. That will be a highly anticipated event.
Yeah, that last round of stops should be here in the next 10 to 20 minutes, as I'm right on the butt of Garrett Biden.
But
yeah, curious to see how that driver change affects the pace of these cars. You know, coming in, first drivers had over an hour of running. Second drivers got to come in cold and then immediately be on the pace to keep that position. They're in a really good spot. Curious to see if Lucas is up to the task of keeping it.
Indeed. Some penalties, if you will, go. The 68 of Connor Bengal. He has a 10-second penalty and a strike. He is a lap down, so it doesn't really matter, but that is on the board. And the 76 car of Jason Wallet, he also has a 10-second penalty and a strike. For avoidable contact, he is also a lap down, so it doesn't really matter. But that is his official scoring right now.
We've got some guys bidding, gentlemen.
Bit early on that trigger. But you're all right.
Those would be the guys that pitted just a little bit too early. I don't think they had any other choice, but that might...
Yeah.
I don't think they can save enough, honestly. Which sounds like more freebies for me.
You could be correct with that. You could be correct. But, you know, with that being said, a battle on track that we're looking forward to. We see Ryan Willock has gotten around Derek Bitton. That's a P6 from his hands.
Louis Diaz not too terribly far off of Jake Cummings. That's for P4. I imagine Hunter Haddisty and Connor Greer are still fighting it out for P10 as well.
A quick reminder to you, Mr. Whitlock, Luis Diaz in that 28 Ford. He's got a 10-second penalty, so you will have that position.
Is that post-race, or did he serve that in the pit stop?
If you gain 6 seconds on him.
Is that post-race?
That is post-race. I don't think he served it.
Let me put my foot down.
I don't think there is a way to counter if you served it, so it's interesting to note. He was trying to catch Jake Cummings, who is many seconds off of Clint Haltman. He is just, past Ricky over here for a lapping maneuver. But, we're all holding firm. Is it just me, or do the Corvettes have like this pinkish tint on the windshield this evening?
I couldn't tell you. It's clear as day for me. Took a nice, beautiful tear off at my last pit stop.
I'm just seeing it on my end. Ricky, he lets go the 28 car of, that would be Luis Diaz on a lapping maneuver. Good show, sir. What's on your mind?
I don't get paid enough to hold up these guys, so just let them go.
Fair enough, fair enough. I don't think any of us get paid, but it'd be nice if we could get paid, Christian.
Hey, I'm up for sale, but
Team principal of Vortex over here. Public
Hey,
declaration.
I'll have you know, a well-esteemed member of Orange Wheel Racing said that there's always a spot for sale on that team. Same goes for over here. So if you want to bring all your racing needs to one of our teams, by all means, send in a request.
Look, if you're going to start talking about should you join OWR or should you join Vortex, I only have one thing to say to the public. We're just simply better.
We go to them every year.
Here's the thing that we really need to say. It doesn't matter who's better because those OU boys over on the Cup side have been stomping on all of us for a couple of weeks.
Well, I don't see him here tonight.
That's absolutely right, but who's leading the race? A Vortex car. Who won FC last night?
Paid driver. Or what's
Not
the
a
opposite
Vortex
of a
car.
paid driver? Paid driver.
Well, let's be completely honest here. I mean, you could say a lot about Vortex.
I'm talking
you can say a lot about OWR, but at least OWR's team principal doesn't wreck his own cars.
No comment.
I was like, wait, who's he talking about?
I'm talking about you, good sir.
Yeah, we had some internal struggles the last couple of weeks at Vortex. We had a director turnover. We lost a member due to some unforeseen circumstances. So we took this week to remember Zach Lindler, put him in our prayers, and now we're just sort of restructuring, and we're doing our best, and I think you can see it here tonight. We're in new form here tonight, guys.
New form, maybe. It does not need to be. It does not need to be understated. Our belief was going to win this race, even if he had a hand tied behind his back. 1 foot was severed off.
Leaf getting through some lap cars, making light work of it.
And he was teammate Jeremy Miller, and it didn't matter. He was going to win the damn race. But
hey, we can't say that name on stream, I thought. It's on the banned words list. So Vortex and Orange and Wheel, but it's fine.
I don't care. It's the stream. Here we go. I think we're going to have a battle here for P2 real soon. Cale Davidson and Clint Halteman.
Yeah, they've been riding it ever since Jake Cummings lost second place.
Halteman's got himself a lasso, if you will. He is certainly going to try to rope and wrangle and reel him in. Now, Halteman's sake, I got a feel for the guy. I mean, he's been driving the Porsche for about 2 hours, almost 2 hours. And you think about 40 minutes to go here, but he did some practice. So it's been about 2 hours of driving in that car tonight. I would be a bit tired. I don't know about him. I think he's a bit tired too, but he's definitely gone through his motions tonight. Hanging in there strong. Don't really know exactly what he could do any differently, except for BR Muhammad Alif, apparently. It's interesting to see that the 12 car hasn't found no one has been able to match his speed anywhere within the team, within the program. I mean, Cale's got pace for sure, but he's 28 seconds off the lead. I mean,
Jake Cummings in the pits, guys. Jake Cummings in the pits.
Oh boy, he's in the pits. He's looking to get a little bit of change. There's 42 some odd minutes left.
I think that is a scheduled stop.
It is a scheduled stop, but is it early?
Depends on where you pit. I still got quite a few laps.
But I think it's also, our last stint's going to be a little bit longer than 40 minutes because we're going to have an extra lap added. So you're looking at 41.5 minutes plus he pitted, plus he's got an extra lap. So I don't know. We're talking 43 minutes here to make this last fuel stint
depending
run.
on when the leader crosses the line, that could be an interesting choice. We'll see how it plays out. I personally, in the Corvette, he's also in the Corvette, had no trouble getting to minute 40. But we'll see how it goes. It depends on when the leader crosses the line. We might be running for as many as 42 extra minutes on this stint.
Now, noted with that insight, he did take tires finally.
Yes, that was definitely the correct call. I'm surprised he didn't the first time.
He'll probably be kicking the can for that one. But, decisions to be made. When I consider putting on fresh rubber, I often think to myself, is this fresh rubber actually going to take me places? Or is my worn rubber still good to go? You know what I say about worn rubber? It's been around town, and it has seen the sights. And you got to take care of your worn rubber like you're taking care of your car. Your real life car. You gotta baby a little bit. You gotta give it some good scrubbing, some good washing, if you will.
Make sure in the pit stop they put the rubber on, right?
You gotta or you're else you're gonna get some baby rubbers.
That's right.
But you gotta watch its temperature. You can't get it too hot. You can't have it too cold. And you gotta make sure it's got good skin. If it gets too rough, it gets too bumpy, then that rubber, it gets a bit rough to bear.
Needless to say, we don't want to puncture at all.
All jokes aside, I do think as we get farther and farther into this race, this track picks up rubber. Marbles offline are going to get trickier and trickier. So I think as rubber builds up, tire wear might be different. As I try to pass a lap car, marbles.
We know what they say about rubber buildup. It just builds up.
I don't think these stints are going to be long enough for any real blistering or graining to occur. I don't think track conditions are crazy enough for tire wear to really be a problem. But, still the decision to not take tires on pit stops is definitely affecting a couple of our contenders.
I would agree.
Well, we've got another fastest lap for the leader, 142.3.
That's a very impressive lap.
It's like a game for him at this point.
I will say we saw a very rare showing of our Muhammad Ali getting humbled last night. I'm sure he didn't take to that too kindly. I mean, I can tell you he didn't take to that too kindly.
Yeah, that was a great job by Cale on lap one getting past him. Although I think
that was Jordan Johnson about last night. I'm talking about.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, you got a teammate passing you lap one here. You get past lap one yesterday. These things are something that a driver remembers. They always say drivers are like elephants, they never forget. And I guarantee you, he is not forgetting, and he is putting on his big boy pants tonight.
I'll tell you what, one driver's definitely not forgetting. Garrett Vitton is not forgetting the way my back bumper looks right now. He has been there for quite some time. Louis Diaz and Jake Cummings have my number right now, though. They are gone for third and fourth. Or excuse me, Jake Cummings has already pit. But he was still a ways ahead of me alongside Louis.
Is it Louis or Luis?
Sometimes I wish I would have read the driver pronunciation channel.
Yeah, we do have a pronunciation channel for a reason.
That does exist. But I had a lot of things.
If you're going to be the main commentator, you might want to know.
That's a good point.
You need to understand one thing. This is for the ladies and gentlemen in the crowd. I signed up to do this with about an hour in advance. I was cooking dinner with 15 minutes ago. I did none of my pre-race work. I'm just here having a good show.
You've still got your esteemed panel, Nick.
I do. I
you
have
love
my esteemed panel.
You esteemed.
You know,
Your esteemed panel joined the race just right after you did. I mean, it was a real last-minute show here tonight, so props to the production crew. Thanks to Nick again. Real last-minute show for
Nick
all of us
Stockner,
over here.
last-minute commentator, Nick Iacchino, first time producing. Shout out to our man behind the camera.
a quick fourth wall break. This is Nick Iacchino's first time, commanding the esteemed panel. I don't even know what to call you anymore. To call you esteemed is something. I would have expected at least some kind of effort. I mean, but then again, I've got a Vortex card here. I mean, P16.
Vortex mention, baby!
Crash.
What the heck is a hurricane? Isn't that you guys'? Anyways.
I don't even know. What kind of a logo is a yin-yang symbol?
Hey, it's better than an orange wheel. What are you guys trying to be, McLaren? I know you're big
What you
orange
see
wheel
is what you
fans.
get.
Listen, I know. I hear you.
Look, we're orange wheel because we have orange supremacy.
Just you wait until the debut of Oranger Wheel Racing.
Oranger wheels. They're on patrol. Luis Diaz is in the pits.
Oh boy. I think I got like two more.
Someone
laps in
spun
me.
off the final corner. That would be Robert Stockton having a rough night for that guy.
Halterman's in the pits.
I got one more lap. See if an overcut is worth it.
Fresh
Little
rubber.
insight for the viewers at home. I know all of us in the Collegiate iRacing League admin team have played with the idea of a CIL podcast, talking about storylines throughout the season across our 3 series. We've got Cup, Formula C, and this Collegiate Sportscar Challenge. Just talk about the way the season's going, any storylines developing between drivers, any beef developing between drivers. Maybe bring people on for an interview every so often. I'll say it, and I think the rest of my commentary team is thinking it. This is basically just a CIL podcast.
That's absolutely right. So if you like what you see, make sure you give us a
let us know.
like and let us know. We'll continue this this fun. Like we said, this is the first all race director broadcast. This is like when NASCAR puts the drivers on an Xfinity Series broadcast, but no one watches those things anyway. Am I right? We are here to bring you some joy, to bring you some smiles, and we're glad you're here with us tonight. If you like what you see, make sure to let us know, and we'll bring you some more content for sure.
Be sure to stay, like and subscribe on the YouTube live stream.
I concur. As a man who's not behind the wheel tonight, we have to do this again at Road Atlanta next month, and I have to drive. We're gonna be in a world of hurt.
Hey,
Yeah,
three
it's worth mentioning.
admins driving and broadcasting? I think we can do it.
Good grief. We would need at least one person not in the car. Keep us sane. I'm pitting.
Look, I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, when I get behind the car, I get a little bit feisty. I'd probably say some things I should not say over.
Maybe best to not put you in the booth.
If you look at our penalty reports, Nick and I both have a habit of doing that,
So I have a little bit of a tendency to use language over the radio, Sumi.
As we watch our Muhammad Ali continue to cruise in this race.
He's about to lap up into the top 10, it looks like.
He's got a minute lead over Garrett Vinton. Garrett Vinton is the car second on track. He's still out there running up.
He was fuel saving, so he's going to extend a few laps.
A leaf is
Luis
heading.
is out of the race. Luis Manuel Diaz is out of the race.
Oh my goodness. Is that a 2-driver car? Is a co-driver taking over?
I hope so, because seeing that name pop up is not something you want to see for that driver tonight.
It's a 2-driver car. Mr. Kiesel Jr. is in the machine.
Hi, Ricky.
Hey, we got admins next to each other on the track. I'll make sure to spin out right in front of you.
Please don't. I'm in a good spot.
Don't you worry.
Now, I mean, obviously the pit cycle will have to cycle itself out.
Hey,
Well,
Thank you for making it easy.
Trying to find and see. I'm going to see if we can grab silly one more
Robert
person.
Kiesel's taking over that car for Louis Diaz, it looks like.
That's what I just said. You know.
Thanks for checking that. I'm busy driving. I apologize.
I know
Yeah.
it's pretty intense for the two of you inside those vehicles. But you know, I did say that to the viewers at home. They know that that this is going on. I think I'm going to grab somebody else to talk to.
Good idea.
I think I'm going to grab somebody else to talk
Getting a
to.
little heated up in the
30
booth too, you know.
30 minutes left in this race. Let's get someone else in here.
I think I'm going to get somebody else to talk to. I've got it's a multi-stage process getting them in here, but we got him, Mr. Schulenberger. What's on your mind?
I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I have been for like the last hour 15.
Middle of nowhere, so kind of like where Wingate University is.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you get it. I'm glad you get it. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I guess this is just a different kind of iPacing where it's just race pace instead of pace car.
I did better when I was following somebody. We go green in this CIL division, so it's a little different, you know.
Yeah, we haven't had a caution yet.
Green flag runs in the CIL. What a sight.
I know. You don't expect them a lot. I mean, we qualified well. Road racing is not my forte whatsoever, so my hope was just to finish this entire race in one piece, and so far so
That's
good.
a good objective.
Top 15, we should, as long as we don't. I only spun out once earlier, and that was hitting one of those freaking sausage bumps. Those things are deadly. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, those apex curbs are not to be toyed with at a lot of these corners. I'll agree with you there. So how's your race going so far? I guess just give us kind of a generalized rundown of your thoughts so far.
Yeah, I mean, so far I thought everybody was very respectful at the start of the race, and
I agree.
everybody was giving each other space, and even when I knew guys were faster than me and were trying to pass me, I kind of just let them go. I wasn't trying to cause any trouble whatsoever. I'm just trying to get as many laps down as I can. The second S's and that left-hander right after this 180 turn have been my biggest struggles. But you gotta have weak points somewhere. So I was like 11th or 12th, and then I spun, and now I've kind of just been hanging 13th, 14th, and yeah, I'm not really gaining, and I'm kind of just slowly pulling from the car behind me, so, I mean,
If you want to slow down for a good friend in 16th, let me know. I'd love a top 15 finish tonight.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's been good. I'm sitting at 25x right now, so we are playing the cautious game.
Oh boy.
Because, the last thing we need is a drive-through to, end this one.
Did
A lengthy drive through the pit lane, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was about 15, 16 with the 1 hour marks. I mean, I was on track, and then that double left-hander to end a lap. There's a lap car in front of me, and his braking point was a lot earlier than mine, and I hit him in the back, and that gave me a 4x, so kind of been on defense ever since.
Now, I know you mentioned that road is not your forte. We have a road series that is dabbling into ovals for the first time in CIL history. The IndyCar series. I don't know if I remember seeing you at Nashville, but would you ever consider running the IndyCar on the other 3 ovals on the schedule?
I would. You just gotta convince my girlfriend to give me another night of racing.
Girlfriend mentioned, party.
You know,
the second one tonight.
The King of Chads, we've been bringing you in here. Both of you, both
Guys
of
got
you,
some
Yeah.
game.
and here, and you both have mentioned girlfriends. I'm going to say the same thing you just said to him. You can tell us if your girlfriend is Jay Cummings in a wig. We would understand. We would understand.
If my girlfriend was Jake Cummings in a wig, then I have really set my standards pretty low.
Oh boy!
Oh, boy. Sound the beep alarm, jeez.
Well, Jake's a step ahead of us because he's engaged. Me and Garrett are just still stuck in the girlfriend phase so
They're
far.
really rizzing it up over there. What do you got to say about some Riz, Nick Stockner? I know you got something to say about it.
Well, I got a lot of things to say about it. I'm a happily, involved man. My partner and I, we've been together for 2 years now. She wants a ring. I don't got the money. Well, I got the money. I just don't want to. I don't want to shell it.
You know what you need to do, Nick? You need
That
to
makes
just
two
give
of
her
us, buddy.
You just need to give her a cup championship ring.
Yeah, you know. I showed her the fact, me and my boys, we do fantasy football, and I won fantasy last year. I showed her my fantasy championship ring. She looked at it like I was stupid. So I don't know if if I pull off another stupid ring, it's gonna act like much.
If she's not content with
It
that,
should-
then I
it's-
don't know what to tell her.
It should be
Exactly.
mentioned that the CIL has a fantasy football league, and I don't think Stockton
Really?
is doing too well.
I'm 2-0.
I didn't even know that existed.
Well, yeah, we do have a fantasy football league. That's right.
Me and
we
Garrett
mention
were
it once
just
a
talking
year.
about it.
We're gonna have to expand, or we're gonna have to get. We got some
We
people
have
that
a
aren't.
16-team league here.
Oh boy. And then we're gonna be diving deep into the barrel.
Yeah, start taking punters and kickers and some O linemen.
That's right.
All right, Nick, we gotta ask our friend Brandon here the car question we've been asking
Oh,
everybody
yes.
Oh
tonight.
gosh.
So we've been asking everybody the same
It's
question.
not bad.
We've asked Chad as well.
Okay.
So these GT3 cars, they are heavily modified race car versions of street car counterparts. If you could take any one of these GT3 cars and turn it back into its street car counterpart to be your personal car, which one would it be?
Wow. Not the BMW, 100%. Probably not the Ferrari. Probably honestly, probably the Lambo or the Mustang. I think
Wow.
those are the
He is
classic.
different.
He is different. We heard from. We asked this question. I said Corvette.
Because that's the
Ryan.
Z06.
Ryan said
Yeah.
Corvette.
Yep.
Ricky also said Corvette.
There's a lot of good choices, to be fair.
Yeah.
Garrett said Porsche.
I did change my mind to the Porsche though.
Never
'Cause
been a
it's
big
the
Porsche guy.
GT3.
I don't know. It
It's
just
a
don't do a lot for
911.
me.
I mean, come on, the GT3, dude.
Now, I've got to ask. You said Ford and you said Lamborghini, but you're racing a Corvette. What is that decision?
I'm racing a Corvette so Jake could do my paint scheme, and so I can get some setups off of him.
Well,
That's-
at least you're honest.
That's the only reason I run a Ford Mustang and Cup, by the way. I'd be running a Chevy all day if I didn't have Jake helping me.
He's
do
a
the
bow
banners
tie
and
guy.
stuff.
He's a bow tie
Yeah.
kind of
All
guy.
right, what if I told you that the paint scheme templates are actually extremely easy? Or
Yeah,
extremely
they
similar?
are. I haven't dug into them, and Jake tells me they're easy, and I'm like, I just.
What
don't
if
know,
I
just
told
never
you
get to
we
it.
had a paint scheme maker in the
No.
chat right now?
I've heard of that guy.
prior?
He charges a pretty good rate. I've purchased some schemes before.
I think his name rhymes with like buying Bitlock.
Cyan Sitlock, that guy.
Yeah, something along those lines. But so you're telling me that Mr. Cummings he made your seven?
Well, it's just VRS, and we're on kind of the same road team. I don't do any of the road races, but it's just all in the garage 61, so he just shares them.
Fair enough.
My
Fair
goodness.
enough.
Something must have happened. How the heck did Garrett Vitten get ahead of me? Oh, less
I know he
fuel in the pit
pitted.
lane.
Yeah.
Yep, less fuel in the pit lane. I know he was fuel saving.
You
Wow.
can easily just get him back. But before we let you go, Brandon, anyone you'd like to shout out?
Shout out to Jake and Garrett. We've been cruising for a bruising so far. We need to get Edward over here doing these. Well, I guess actually the deadline's too far, but he's
Sanchez Vortex Dimension,
out.
baby.
Shout out the girl who's hopefully watching. If she is watching, then hopefully we can convince her to get to some of those Wednesday night runs.
Girlfriend
We'll have to work
Dimension.
on that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I will say the Collegiate Sportscar Challenge does provide a lot of schedule freedom, being only once a month.
Yeah, that's
So the,
what I
the
did like about it.
occasional FC oval race, that's I think also
That's a
about
fair
once a month.
trade-off, you know.
I
Plenty-
didn't know
plenty
if that was
date
allowed or
nights.
not, to be honest. It's been on my mind. I just didn't know if that was allowed.
Well, you've got the series director right here.
That's
Who?
very true.
Does his
Boy.
name rhyme with Bicky Roz?
Yeah, his name sure does rhyme with Kiki Kaz.
That's right. Oh my god.
All I know is for you two are directors in there. He's been a constant director. He's been a constant participant of my series ever since he started. I mean, you know.
Very true.
I
Stockner, what do we think of Cup so far? So far, it's been pretty successful points-wise for you.
Wow, that
Weather
Ricky
just
Paz
changed.
guy
Am I
sucked.
crazy?
You know,
It did. I spun.
I'll take a P9 to start the season. I can't
Yeah.
really complain. What I can complain about is, you know, just the Oklahoma dominance has been a little bit unprecedented. And what I can complain is, there has been an extreme amount of aggression all across the board. I didn't really expect it to be turned up a
Ooh,
notch,
Garrett
but-
spun at the exit of Aqua Minerale.
I also spun as well. The
That's
track
the number
feels
27.
different. And John LaFon spun right in front of me too.
Oh Lord, you all need to keep these cars straight. I'm gonna have a tough time even calling this race home. But overall, Brandon, I would say the state of the Cup Series is great. I'm glad to see participation at an all-time high.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we sent cars home 3 straight weeks in a row, and you know, as much as it sounds like a negative to say I sent cars home, you know, that proves that we've got more people trying to make these races than we got spots to give, and so it just adds to the competitive nature of the field that you got to find a way to make the show.
Yeah,
But-
usually this is part of the season where we start to fall off with a little bit of the numbers, but they've held pretty consistent. I got to give it to
I
them.
don't think they've fallen off at all. I actually think we had more for Kansas than the
I
previous
was
days.
I was shocked
we
with
did.
how many we had for Kansas.
And we had 51 for Dega, then we had 47 for Auto Club, and we went back to 50 for Kansas. I mean, you got 50 guys trying to make a Kansas race. You know you've made that step forward. But you know, enough about Cup. That's for the Monday crowd. You know, you're running P13. You know, it's not points paying, but it's a position that could come in handy if we're talking about countback. You know, obviously being a lap down to a leaf is, you know, for most it's expected.
Yeah.
But do you think your pace has been good, bad, mid?
I really didn't do a lot of practice for this race, and I kind of can just blame myself on that. I thought for the first run it was good, and then I felt like since I spun, I feel like it's been very mediocre. I haven't touched 143 yet. Just laying in probably the high 144s, mid, just depending on obviously how much fuel's in the car. But I definitely think there's improvement, and I know my road racing's not great, so that's why just the mentality is just to get as many laps possible so we can just continue to get better at this, and maybe eventually fight for points in one of the last 3 races.
Yeah, hey,
Maybe-
2 hours solo. There's no better way to get seat time than doing this
That's
series
right.
solo.
Exactly.
Maybe the weather hasn't changed, but I think the headlights have changed in sim because that's what's making it look super foggy out the window for me. I don't know about you guys, but pretty
Yeah, I think
interesting.
it's overcast now, and we've got a little bit of fog. Cause sim time, this race starts at noon. It should still be well early in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're getting a little overcast. I think we got a little bit of fog now. I don't think that should throw these drivers off too much, but you know, maybe somebody misses a reference or something because of it.
We can only hope.
Sim time is 3:47 p.m.
Oh, yeah,
according
we
to-
got plenty of
according to the
daylight.
calculator. But Mr. Schulenberg, it's been great talking to you, buddy.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
Look forward
you
to
for
doing it
racing
with
tonight.
you again soon. Thank you for
Absolutely.
racing tonight, and you know, thank you for joining the podcast style broadcast here of our show. And we look
Nope.
forward to talking to you very soon.
You got it, sir. I appreciate it.
What
I
could
gotta
we
drag him
call
down
it? The prodcast? The bot broadcast podcast?
I don't even know, man. It's a wild state of affairs. But
Ooh,
You know,
Jake
we got
Cummings.
it.
Something
We got
just happened
about
to him.
15 minutes to go here. You know, we thank the Giga Chads for being in a chat so I can actually pull them into the room. Nobody else signed up for that. But I mean, that's okay. Been trying to grab them when I know that they're like not in the middle of a fight. That's why I grabbed, Vitten and Schulenberg. I know that they have been in some pretty, no man's land situations. Not knocking them, but they just don't have anybody close by, front or behind. We haven't pulled in Cummings yet, mainly because Cummings is in a battle. He's only 2 seconds behind. What's his name, Mr. Kiesel, and not really
I
to
think
say
you
we
just
don't.
made a mistake because I know that number changed my relative a lot last lap, so I think we might leave him be.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to, bring him in and knock him off his game. I mean, we kind of did it to Vinton on accident, but I know you do. But you got about 8 seconds to figure that one out. But
my relative doesn't know what to think.
I don't know what to think half the time when I'm thinking about this stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've spent this entire broadcast eating my dinner.
There you go.
Good battle for P16 here, and that battle's done because I've just reached 30 incident points.
Brutal. Let me get one just so I can check here really quick. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. I have a black box for that. I'm at 5. I think my headlights just turned on.
Jake's being held up by the 16.
I lied. I'm at 6 incident points now.
You just had to test,
Yeah, Jake Cummings is not far back up Rob Kiesel. I think he's got better pace, too.
He does. He's 1.7 seconds behind him. He was getting held up by that 16 car of Auburn for a considerable portion of time.
John LaFon almost just murdered me.
He did pass. Well, I'm checking my notes here. Apparently, he did pass Alan Hong. The 16 gets a 10-second penalty for unsafe rejoin. He's 10 laps down on the field. I don't know exactly if that means something or not.
Garrett Vitten just came on over the radio complaining about blue flags on Connor Bingle.
Yeah.
He just called it out for race control. That'll be worth a look. Blue flag rules do vary between our 3 series.
It will be a look. The 68 of Bengal does give way.
I don't think it's as specific in the sports car rulebook as it is in the Cup and FC rulebook these days.
To Bengal, I mean, he's 2 laps down in 23rd. He's the last car on his individual lap. I don't really think there was much that he was necessarily fighting for. And to Vitten's favor, he only had 4 seconds above Christian in P8, and he's 10 seconds behind you. I'm sure it's gotten worse, and he's definitely not going to be happy.
Yeah.
But
I understand that from Vitten's point of view. Although, in fairness, he doesn't know this. I do. This is Connor Bingle's debut GT3 race. So
Placencia, is around number 12. Or sorry, number 10. He was P12. He's around, and that was a close one.
Indeed,
Jake Cummings
it was
still close to Kiesel. Actually, that gap has closed. That has gone from gap to borderline fight now. It's less than half a second, it looks like. This is a tough track to pass at, especially if you don't have the straight line speed advantage. As we come almost 10 minutes left in the race. Lap traffic, I think, has been a factor today. Jacob Cummings might have to use lap traffic to his advantage. I know it played to his disadvantage recently, but when he's that close and the track is this difficult to pass at.
He might, but he's mighty close. He's going to pull alongside. Is he or is he not? No, he's not this time. But here he comes. Oh, he's going to pull alongside this time.
This is a tough corner to pass at. They're still side by side, around the outside.
Cummings to the point, or not the point, but he's the P4. Great pass, good sir.
Yeah, very impressive pass. That is not an easy spot on track to do it. Those curbs are big and vicious. They will make you spin if you're not careful. They'll give you a slowdown if you're not careful. So that was a good move. I knew he had the pace, but to pull it off there is not what I expected.
Hard pass, indeed. A great maneuver for him. Now, his next target is the 21 car of Cale Davidson. That's 15 seconds away from the man. He did just pull off a 1:44 to Cale's 1:43. So, I mean, Cale is fast.
That would be the car of Lucas Moody, actually.
Oh, yeah, you're correct. Mrs. Davidson, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your son is no longer driving. Mr. Moody, a man who he's had a rough go this week. He caused a wreck in the Cup Series race. He got wrecked by his boss at Montreal.
I wouldn't say wrecked. It was a netcode incident, but
And
yeah, it was
How's his pace? You know, Cale doing 2 stints, Lucas doing 1, would at least indicate to me that Cale is the preferred driver in that car. What's Lucas Moody's pace look like right now?
Lucas Moody's last lap was a 1:43.63.
Not
Gotcha.
bad for
That's
a
still a
second
decent pace.
driver. Not bad at all.
It's
Faster
not
than
bad.
old boss man's been able to run the entire race. So
It's not bad, but when you think about it, you know, did Ball State do that simply to, you know, not have to run the whole time? I mean, Muhammad Leaf apparently does not have a teammate. He's doing this all on his own, which I credit him for. I mean, to do 2 hours of this is a hard moment to bear.
but to lead the whole thing for 2 hours is something completely different.
Well, he didn't even do that either. I mean, Cale did take the lead off the jump. You know,
Still, if we had like FC does bonus points for most laps led, I think we can give that to a Leaf. That
Yeah,
does
we
not apply
could.
to this series, but if it did,
you know, we could do the IMSA thing and do quarter and halfway points, but you know,
geez.
that-
I don't want to do IMSA points. That spreadsheet would be a nightmare.
Then our points guy, our Wikipedia points guy, doesn't have
Hey.
the time for that. So.
No, dude, IMSA's points are something else. You get like 35 points for pole, and that's multiplied by 10 for race results. I'm not a fan. We've got car 76, car 86, Wallet and Donovan. I think they are all on the same lap. I've got a front row seat. I'm gonna try to not get wrecked as they fight.
Now, for those who don't know, apparently the University of Delaware and Drexel University have had beef.
Oh dear.
These two guys don't like each other, apparently. They're fighting for P20 and P21, and they've got P6 in their way.
Oh my goodness.
Holy gee willikers.
Donovan letting me by allowed Jason by him. That was not a great place to do it.
That's a move.
I'm not complaining, but to do it by Donovan. Jason just got a free spot there almost into a very difficult corner to pass in.
Definitely not. I mean, now we're dealing with what's it called? By the way, the only Mercedes in the field is Jason Wallet. I don't exactly. I remember a lot of people buying the Mercedes GT3 when it was like the meta car. I even bought the Mercedes GT3.
One of the best sounding GT3s, but it is not hype at anywhere else than Daytona.
Yeah, it's got a lot of straight line speed, but just its mid-corner characteristics, I've driven it myself. I don't think it loves direction changes. It's just not wonderfully balanced, I would say. It's a very sluggish car, but I mean, props to Jason for driving it, being our only Mercedes representative in the field. And I mean, he's making it work. P20 is, in a race this long, doing it solo, it's definitely not nothing.
Yeah, he's definitely beating some cars. He's not beating a lot of cars, but he's definitely he actually just moved up to P19. Adrian Tubakovic actually just passed a Delaware car. So you got Adrian Tubakovic up in P20, which is a great day for him. Jason Wallet's next target just so happens to be that of Mr. Ricky Paz. Ricky on the front stretch and Jason just now in Aqua Minerale. That's about a half a lap to do in about 6 minutes of time. And
That'd slow down for him, you know.
You could. You very
Yeah,
well could.
I don't think Jason is catching Mr. Pause anytime soon.
He
Even
could.
if you gave him a bunch of push to pause. I had to.
A trickery
I'll give you a free pause on that one.
I'll give you a free pause.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Jason might have to dip into his wallet to find a little bit of pace here.
Oh, God.
As our Muhammad is leafing the field behind.
You know what? I think that's a stretch.
I'll tell you what, a leaf is stocking up these wins. That was bad, but
He sure is.
That was very poor. I mean...
All right, you've been eating for half the stream, so you deserved it.
Hey! Just because I'm eating my dinner doesn't mean that I can't call a good race. I think
And Lucas is still holding on to that podium spot. That's definitely no result to sniff at. That's not going to leave anybody moody.
No. Oh. If I had the Seinfeld music on hand, I'd give it to you. Oh, Lord.
But as we approach the we are past the 5-minute mark left in this race. Post-race, interviews, winter celebration, those are all Jacob Cummings. No?
No.
Those are Jacob Cummings.
All right, dude. You've had enough.
You know...
I guess you could say I'm already over the Christian Hill.
God almighty. I mean, it was great when it started. You know, when I said, you know, Connor Bingle, that's searching.
Yeah, I do need to look up a few more good puns on Connor Bingle.
You know, but overall, I think we've had a really good showing tonight from a lot of people. Our Muhammad Ali, I mean, you know, for the folks at home that have usually been around with me and everybody else who calls these races, you know the drill. The man who's leading this race needs no introduction. He's been doing this for quite a large amount of time. We're running into the final 3 minutes of the show, for sure. And he's doing 1 minute 42:26.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's no shame to anyone else in this series. No one else even had a chance today. I mean, a Leaf woke up and decided vengeance was what he was doing.
Hard of dirt, it's Adrian Tubakovic. He almost hit a Leaf. That was scary.
That would have been a twist.
That would have. We've been talking all day long about how our Muhammad Ali was going to win this race. And if Adrian Tubakovic had ruined his day, my golly, we would have dealt with a meltdown. And, you know, St. Clair College, the one who fields Mr. Tubakovic's car, would have had a lot of things to say about the fact that they took out the guy who, for all practical purposes, other than what I think may have been 10 minutes of on-track time, he's led this race. And, you know, it's just been easy for the man. I mean, it's not... It's difficult to describe just the level of dominance displayed this evening. I mean, when you think about it, Jordan Johnson in a 45-lap race at Montreal yesterday evening, he won with a gap of about 20-some-odd seconds to our Muhammad Ali. A Leaf got stomped in
the story of the race is he had some right side pod damage from hitting.
I'm curious. Maybe
right side pod damage
guys on the wrong strategy didn't save fuel.
These are all those four-stop strategy or four-stint, three-stop strategy guys. They couldn't make it to the end, despite being so close. John LaFon also just pitted in front of me. I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Ricky also needs to pit here soon.
You may be correct, but I mean, to capitalize on the evening, it's been 2 hours of racing. I mean, Clint Halterman is no slouch. He's been one of the better cars on track this evening.
And he's most of our series.
He's been 43 seconds behind.
Phew.
I mean, it is a significant margin.
Oh, it is the white flag for the leader here.
Is that the call?
That is the call. The leader has taken the white flag.
All right, all right. It's time for me to call the man home. He has just come out of Costa. He's coming over the crest of the hill. He's coming down into Aqua Minerale. It's been a wonderful evening here with my esteemed panel, giving you a 2-hour podcast style race breakdown of what has occurred. But coming out of Aqua Minerale now into the next chicane comes a man who needs no introduction. He needs no words. He
We're gonna
drives
give him a lot.
for Ball State. We're going to give him a great opportunity to have an interview this evening. But I still need to figure out where is the state of ball, but I think I'm going to start figuring that out sooner rather than later because he's coming around the final quarter now, and he's looking to take the checkered flag. Checkered flag of the Tifosi 2-hour to R. Muhammad Ali, winner of the first race of the Collegiate Sportscar Challenge season.
Extremely impressive race from him. His pace was good all day. Challenged at the start of the race, unfazed, had plenty of time to get that spot back. Really great result. We expected nothing else.
Mr. Halterman, he is currently in P2. Coming around the final corner now. It is not for the faint of heart. But the
Good run
man
from Clint.
who will win the alumni category this evening is Clint Halterman coming home with a P2 finish for him in Orange Wheel Racing. Congratulations.
Yeah, I think he started in the back half of the top 10, so
he did
used
start
all
in
that time.
P7.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
had a really good run. We will also get to talk to him. And then coming behind him was the car 21, which was being driven by Lucas Moody and Cale Davidson, which means, got to call all 4 drivers into the interview waiting room. And we will be able to talk to them this evening. So let me get that underway. But gentlemen, y'all are finishing your races. Oh, that's right. Clint Halterman gets $20. R. Muhammad Ali gets 30, and Lucas Moody and what's his name?
I guess they get to split $10.
They get to split $10.
Good run from them. Best 2-driver car. This is mostly a solo driver series, but props to them for putting it together, doing that teamwork, and good job done. Kay did 2 stints, handed that car over to Lucas, but he did what he needed to do. Exactly what he needed to do to split $10. You crossed the line yet, Ricky?
Oh yeah, I already crossed the line. Solid P17 for me today.
Top 20.
Could have been better, but
And you
I'll be
ran
honest,
right?
guys. Listen, Ryan, I'll tell you, I did not want to be here tonight, but sometimes, a leaf tells Vortex. Sometimes you just gotta push through. You gotta persevere. It's on those days that you don't want to do anything that you need to do something. And sports car, not my forte. I'm a pretty solid oval guy, a really good Formula car guy. Sports car, just not it for me, but I'll take a top 17. Definitely a better finish than Nick Stockner, so what can you say?
Well,
I didn't even drive.
I'll tell the people at home. Ricky was on the fence. He was saying either I'll commentate or I'll race. I haven't decided yet. Well, lo and behold, he was in the booth with us for the whole thing, doing both. So I walked home with a P6 finish. Can't complain. Top 10, that's points. Not money, but it's points.
Okay, we will get to that in a moment, but we're going to grab them in here. We're going to get both of them in here. So I'm going to pull the first one in, and I'm going to pull the second driver in of this car, Mr. Cale Davidson. and Mr. Lucas Moody, drivers of the 21 car. What's on y'all's mind?
A nap.
Yeah, same. My eyes hurt.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Probably a good shower.
care to
Cool.
elaborate?
Shower sounds really nice right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if that's on your mind, I quite understand. Take us through the combined efforts of the 21 cars race.
All right, it looks like I'm going because Kale just looked at me as like I don't want to talk. So coming into the race, we knew that Kale had better race pace than me, and is just better at starts. But I had a little bit more quality pace, so I was able to put the car right behind a Leaf on second on the grid, which was a really good start for us. And then Kale just got a really good start. Lost a spot to Jake, but he didn't take tires, so he was struggling with the car a lot and kept us in second for second for a good part of that race. And then on that last driver swap, we lost 5 seconds, and that basically let Clint right by us because I got stuck in lap traffic, and still P3 and happy for that, but it could have been a P2 today.
It's understandable. So, what you're telling us is, because the driver who qualifies has to open the starting stand. You got in Kale's rig and drove the quali lap. Did you know?
No, I didn't. I didn't think that was a rule because it didn't. I did qualifying and then it just let the Kale hop right in the car.
Oh, I don't know how this shit works. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, but
Are you on a curse?
See daisies. Anyways,
I don't give a damn. I got my esteemed panel here with me. John, you got something to say?
yeah, I just wanted to mention. I mean, you guys are the highest finishing 2-driver car. How did that dynamic play into y'all's race? I know you mentioned you lost time on a pit stop. You think that was because of the driver swap or just a bad box?
It was actually, it said 4 seconds we had to wait for the driver swap. So instead of, we came out, I want to say, I think we were trying to do an undercut on Clint on my second stop there. And Clint still came out like 4.9 seconds ahead of us. So even with the 4 seconds we lost, he got in front of us on that pit stop. But then instead of cycling out like less than a second behind him, we ended up being 5 seconds back. And then from that point, it was kind of like, well, now what do we do?
Well, that's interesting, Ryan, because we talked about how a driver swap is worth however many seconds to fuel the car.
Exactly.
That last stop, if you're not fueling the car to max, you got to wait on the driver swap, not the fuel. And so that might be one of the issues going forward with a 2-stop strategy.
Good point. Yeah, we set the fuel tank size based upon going from empty to full. Takes the same time as a driver swap. So it's interesting how you guys didn't go from empty to full. You went from empty just to get you to the end of the race, and that disadvantaged you. Didn't think about that. Well, good run regardless. Thank you guys for joining us.
We do have one more question.
Yeah.
This is for the both of you.
Oh yeah.
The most important question of the night.
We've been asking this question to everybody. So these GT3 cars, they're heavily modified versions of street going cars. If you could take any one of these GT3 cars and remodify it back into its street going version and be your daily driving car, which one would it be?
BMW Z4 GT3.
I'm taking the 720.
Taking the McLaren. Those are new answers for the night.
The BMW Z4, which isn't even on the list of cars that can be driven, but that's okay. And then the McLaren. Now, here's the thing for the both of you gentlemen. You mentioned those cars. Obviously, we can't use the Z4 in this series, but the McLaren is available. Yet you drove the Ferrari. Take us through that decision.
The Ferrari is just OP. It is really quick. It lacks in straight line speed, but its cornering ability is really nice. And especially they just released the 720 into the game, so it's a bit of a wild card. And I don't think its pace just matched the Ferrari, so we just decided to stick with it.
Okay.
Hey, before you guys go, any people you want to thank? Any people you want to shout out? Kale, we know your mom was in the chat. We were nice talking to your mom all night. So anyone you want to thank, including your mom?
Wait, give me
Yeah,
a second.
Mrs. Davidson was in
Lucas,
the
you go.
YouTube chat.
Yeah, speaking of mom, shout out to my mom. Her birthday was yesterday, so shout out to my mom.
yeah, happy
and you got
birthday.
wrecked out.
Yeah.
Shout out to my dad and my brother Andrew as well. Shout out to Vortex. Woo!
Vortex mention, baby. Let's go, Vortex mention.
For the love of God.
Of course, Ball State as well. Our teammates, Alif, all of our academy drivers, all the Oval teammates, and Dan and BK, and Overton Setup Shop.
Overton Soda Shop mentioned. Let's go.
And then
Any-
just repeat everything again.
Okay, I mean, you're gonna shout out Lucas's parents too.
Yeah, and mine. We'll add that in.
Any siblings?
Yeah, Lucas's brother, Andrew Moody.
Any companies?
Fine. Okay, I'll shout out my dog Enzo, my dog Walter, Handy Hood
That's a
Rats,
good
and
dog
Noah
name.
Farms for sponsoring the car. Thank you.
How about you? How about you? All right, y'all take it easy. You're out.
Thank you.
Ain't coming. Mr. Halterman, a P2 finish. What's on your mind?
A shower, I think, is on my mind. That's what I need.
Hey, that's the second time so
Answer
far,
that
dude.
question. I mean, good Lord. Anything else on your mind besides the fact you're a dirty, sweaty boy?
I don't know. It's that was a long race. Especially the second stint was cool. I was working really hard to try and run down Kale. Kale and I can't seem to get away from each other the last 2 days. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Had a lot of adrenaline pumping there. But then that third stint, I guess the driver swap, they probably cost him some time, so I rejoined like 6 seconds ahead or something like that. And so then at that point, I was just kind of on my own for that last stint, however long it was, 40 minutes or something. So I didn't have a lot to distract myself. So I was feeling everything, every pain I had in my wrists or everything. So yeah, happy with a P2, even though I don't think I actually passed anybody. I think it was either someone spinning or making a pass in the pit stops, but we'll take it.
Hey, you're walking home with $20 in your pocket
Oh my! I forgot. I forgot that.
for race prize pools, buddy.
I forgot about
Hey,
that. Hell yeah!
He can take a nice trip to Cookout, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Get yourself a cheer wine, quesadilla
Yeah.
on the side.
Yeah. I still have some left over too.
That's right.
Mr. Halterman, I've been asking this question to everybody all evening, including the chat. But we're going to ask this to you. These GT3 cars, they're heavily modified counterparts of road-going versions. Let's say you had your pick of all the GT3 cars available this evening, and to unmodify it back to its road-going version, and that is your car. What car are you picking?
Mm. That's a good question. I think I still gotta go with the Porsche, honestly. I feel like those look pretty cool in real life. I like how it races in the sim. And yeah, I mean a Lambo would be pretty cool as well. Just have, a Lambo or a Ferrari. Damn, that is the tough question actually.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with my trusty Porsche.
Porsche, that's right.
It's a Z06.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that, and if I have a Porsche as my car in real life, I won't complain. I won't complain about anything at all.
I've heard a lot of wrong answers, and I'm just continuing to hear wrong answers. I don't know what to say. Mr. Halterman,
Before you go, hold on.
Oh,
Ask him if he wants to, thank any pets, any parents, any siblings, any
Oh, yeah.
companies, any teams of the color variation. Do what you gotta do here.
Mr. Halterman, I was going to get to that point, Ricky, before you interrupted me. Mr. Halterman, do you have anybody you'd like to shout out? And please, by all means, mention your handsome team owner.
Yes, I like
Not the
to, of
team
course,
owner.
my very handsome. He pays me every single dollar he's ever made. Nick Stockner, of course, of Orange Road Racing.
Good show.
Though every time I get the checks in the mail, the bank doesn't take them for some reason. But so I don't know what the deal with that is. But you know, I'm sure
He's
he's
broke.
just. I'm sure next time it will work.
Don't worry about it.
I'll shout out my cats who are laying next to me here. They didn't disturb me at all the whole race, so that's cool. Thank you, Bobby and Cher.
Let's
Uh,
go.
Thank you to the other members of Orange Wheel Racing. Mr. Ryan Whitlock, of course, his series. He also made passing him pretty easy, unfortunately for him. I don't know what happened to you, Ryan, but I think you had maybe like a break lock up in turn one. So
Yep.
yep, we had a whole train going so made my life a little easier. But I think he still rebounded to get a good P6. So yeah, and shout out to the broadcast team for the broadcast tonight.
Thank you for joining us, buddy.
Well, thank you, kind sir. We'll look forward to getting you in there again. And take it easy.
Yep. Thank
We'll
you guys.
see you next time.
We're gonna grab the winner here. He needs no introduction.
Who's winning?
Mr. O'Leaf, what's on your mind?
What's up? Nothing much.
That's
You
a
just
different answer.
stomped on people for 2 hours and you've got nothing much on your mind. I mean, you can give us a little more than that. See,
You know, at
Yeah.
least your teammates told us they had to shower on their mind. I mean, and clean home. But you,
True that,
ju-
true that.
just so a shower's also on your mind. What is with
Shower.
people tonight?
We're
The
sweaty,
Ferrari.
Nick.
Yeah.
and you don't sweat much when you're eating dinner and yapping, but when you're actually racing, you sweat quite a bit.
We've been working
Yeah.
our
I was
butts
actually
off.
thinking about Formula One, out of all things.
Really?
The
Okay.
whole race, you're just thinking of F1. God.
Yeah, because I'm missing
Singapore-
my home race.
You
Singapore,
are
that's
missing your
right.
own-
Yeah, so I'm like, wow, it must be nice being there. I'm here. Yeah, it's
The
okay.
nostalgia
Just-
factor.
just speaking of Formula One, I know you're a Lewis Hamilton fan. How
Yeah.
does it feel to know that the greatest driver of all time is still Michael Schumacher?
It's a fact that it's not true.
What
Numbers wise.
you can be wrong.
Yeah, I think you are wrong, Nick. Just saying.
I'm just
Lewis
saying.
has more wins, more poles, more fastest laps, more podiums,
Well,
more.
you're going to get more
Yeah.
tips when you get
Yeah,
20
I mean-
races a season to do.
I mean, if you want to back it up with facts, Lewis is the best.
Well,
I mean-
Alif, let's talk about most wins and most polls and all that nonsense. Tell the CIL admin podcast here what it's like to add another number of wins and another number of polls to your total tally here in the CIL.
I actually have no idea how much I have right now.
Neither do we.
Yeah,
Good
so
Lord.
yeah, feels good, I guess.
He's racking them up. He
Yeah.
don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
Oh man, well I can tell you as someone with 0 wins and 0 polls, we're chasing you every week, and it's always a pleasure to race you. Nick's got a really important question for you here. We've been asking everyone this tonight.
I do. We've been asking. We asked chat. We asked everybody we pulled in for an interview here. These GT3 cars. They're heavily
Mhm.
modified versions of street-going cars.
Oh yeah.
If you had free choice, take one of the GT3 cars on offer, and unmodify it back into its street-going version, and that be your car to drive. Which one would you pick?
Porsche 919 Evo. The unrestricted one.
Ooh,
No, one of the
jeez.
GT3 cars.
Oh, GT3 cars.
If you had to have a road-going
GT3
the
car.
street car, yeah. If you had to have a
Okay.
street car, which one would you have?
Okay, if I say a GTE, would that count, or does it have
It's-
to be?
No,
It-
you're breaking the rules,
it's
Elite. You just gotta
indisputable.
keep
Gotta do
it.
something your race
I
against the
said
night.
GT3, and you say GTE. Like, I mean, am I speaking a different
One's the
language?
letter, one the number. What are we doing here?
Okay,
This
okay,
2-hour
here's
race
mine.
length's supposed to
Here's
get
mine.
to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Porsche 992 GT3.
Yeah,
All right,
that's right.
Porsche guy.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
With that
Okay,
with that
fine.
engine.
I mean, you see
Yeah.
that car on the road, and you're like, man, like
mean,
that's a
Yeah,
solid looking
that,
car.
that with the straight cut gear and everything. Oh,
Oh, he's talking. He's cooking. Alif is
Yeah.
cooking.
We're
Hey,
still,
Alif.
we're still dealing with wrong answers, but all I gotta ask now is, you said Porsche, but you're driving a Ferrari. What's the disconnect here, boy?
I mean, I've always been a Ferrari guy in GT3. In general, I mean, if you go look at my other World Championship entries, I've always been for season. So always like the engine. This 96 great car, I feel. Good on tires and good on fuel. So great car by Ferrari. Ferrari guys, if you're listening, big fan. Lewis Hamilton's gonna be a Ferrari driver next year.
That.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Him and Red
well,
is gonna be crazy.
This was the Tifosi 2 hour, and you
That's
brought it
right.
home for Ferrari.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Before we close it out here, Leaf, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to say thank you to? Any pets? Any team owners? Any teams? Any sponsors? Go for it.
Does that team start with a V?
Oh, you know it does.
Yeah,
Vortex
Vortex
Fuel?
there you go.
Vortex mention,
Motorsport.
baby. Let's do it, Vortex.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, my teammates as well, Kale, Lucas, for trying their best. The support is very nice. The academy drivers, the oval drivers as well, and whole of Ball State for the so that's cool.
Any prayers you want to send out to former directors of Vortex Motorsports?
Yeah, I'm sending my thoughts to Zach, Mr. Lindler. So if you're listening, you're always welcome back here. Saying, doesn't really, yeah, doesn't really feel like it's the same race without you. So yeah.
That's right. All of CIL sends our prayers up to Zach Lindler, hoping he gets better soon and hoping to have him back soon. And Leaf, we're hoping that you slow down soon because, quite frankly, you're not giving any of us a chance. But thanks for having a good night. Thanks for joining us in the booth, and have a good night.
Thank you. Please don't give me extra ballast. Bye bye.
Unfortunately, well, fortunately for you, unfortunately for the rest of the field, I can't assign it per person. It goes to the car.
That's
He's gone.
right.
I've already thought about it.
Yeah. So we're giving the Chevy extra horsepower, and we're putting the Ferrari with extra weight. Got it.
200 kilos to the Ferrari. In
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess this is now time for our rundown of the order of the points paying positions tonight. The Ball State 12 car of Leaf, he won the race. Clint Holtzman finished P2 with Cale Davidson and Lucas Moody in P3. P4 was Jake Cummings. P5 was the FIU boys of Luis Diaz and Robert Kiesel. And P6 was Ryan Whitlock. And P7 it was Garrett Vinton. In P8, it was Hunter Hidesti. P9 was the EC Mar duo. I think one of them was at least Ben Fiore. I don't know the other guy. Connor Greer was in P10. That's the last points paying guy. Jamie Placencia in P11. Christian Hill in P12. Brandon Schulenberger P13. Grant Meter P14. Jason Satterley P15. Jordan Ricky P16. Ricky Paz, P17. John LaFawn, P18. What's his name? And P19, I think it's
Jason Wallet. That's right.
P20 is University of Delaware. P21, Connor Bingle. P22, Mark Kovacs. P23 was Adrian Tibakovic. P24 was an Auburn car. P25 was also an Auburn car. P26 Aiken Lamar, P27 Alan Hong, P28 Virginia Wesleyan, and those were the cars that did drive in the field. Now, as I have my esteemed panel with me here this evening, we took you through 2 hours of, in all honesty, it was 2 hours of a Leaf that's stomping the field, and everybody else is just there to watch it. It's really hard to describe a race that it was just a master class of driving. But a Leaf did it with class. A Leaf did it with care, and he most certainly did it with professionalism. And as we move towards next Monday, where we will have the Cup cars once again for you on broadcast, with Mr. Gagnon and Mr. Daniels calling a wonderful Texas race for the Black Sunshine Memorial 200 at Texas. It will be a race to uncover. This series only runs once a month. We only get a few chances to be together. Tonight's event was certainly one for the books. It was one in which you had to be on your toes. You had to understand the ebbs and the flows. And in some advanced cases, in some real advanced cases, you even had to use the gas pedal. And because of this, we got the results that we did. And the folks of my esteemed panel, for one last time tonight, I'm going to ask my question. What's on your mind?
Just how great of a race Leaf had, and I'm honestly glad that this race went pretty well. As the director of this series, I'm glad things went pretty smoothly. That I think two driver cars didn't really run into many issues, except for Kale and Lucas on that last stop, but that was a specific scenario. I think it was a good race, and I'm really glad everybody participated. I'm really looking forward to Road Atlanta next time in about a month's time, and then Watkins Glen after that. Just really excited to see what the rest of the season holds. And thank you guys for having me up here. And I think it was a fun race to call and to participate in.
Yeah, it's the start of a new era for our league, a continuation of an old era for sure. For all you Swifties out there in your eras, you know, we're in our sports car era, and quite frankly, I'm just glad that the league is progressing in a way to where we can have great racecraft at races like these. You know, there were times to get on my soapbox here with all of us oldies up here in the booth. There were times where we wouldn't be able to do things like this, and you know, these drivers that you see out on track, they really know what they're doing. They're really pushing us all to the limit, and it's a great thing to see. You know, as Nick said, I'm excited to move forward. You know, the Cup Series is at Texas next week. The FC Series starts their Indianapolis trial, which I know all of us are excited about. First at the Indy Road Course, and then the week after that at the Indy Oval, the coveted Indy Oval, which will be some great racing. But no, I think CIL is a good. Our product as a whole, our product is doing real well, and I'm just really excited to see what the rest of this season brings.
All right. That was my esteemed panel of Ryan Whitlock and Ricky Paws. My name is Nick Stockner. I took you through 2 hours of this race this evening, and to be quite honest with you, just like a lot of people that we interviewed, what's on my mind? I want a shower. Y'all take it easy, and we're out of here.